Yay! Welcome, evening, ladies and gentlefolk. How are all of you? This evening, we have the infamous Whistler joining us, and we have Darth Sean, and we have our good other anonymous guest, Don Fulio. What is up, y'all?
What's happening?
How you guys doing?
It's
been a while.
Yeah. This is fun. This feels cool. This is like a group chat.
Yeah, like we're having 5 minutes ago in the waiting room. But now, join us. Ooh, I've demystified the art.
Oh gosh. How are y'all doing?
James?
Ready? No, nothing. How are you? How's everybody's Monday? How was everybody's weekend? You guys have fun? Did you do fun things?
I can't remember. We had the new KFC mega box meal for what that worth. Have you guys had that? Like a big
strips?
KFC box meal with the strips and stuff. That's pretty good. It's probably the best KFC I've ever had.
We did the music for the KFC vibe, the strips.
Oh really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was quite cool.
I've only seen the picture ad, but I mean, we'll check that out.
I can't even remember.
It's pretty cool.
Remember how the music goes. Anyway,
All I can imagine is that chickens at Mavericks.
Your music.
What?
Chickens at Mavericks.
Yeah, chicken strips. I'm like, these chickens are stripping. Only chickens.
God. Hashtag only chickens.
No, fuck. I haven't tried KFC for like a number of years. Like, it's just so weird. The chicken got so not chickeny. The burgers are cool, but the actual chicken pieces is like...
Yeah, I haven't done chicken pieces for ages. I'll do like I actually on the weekend I did because I wanted to get the strips, and then there was only like one vibe. I was like, nah, screw it. So I skipped it and then just got like a normal vibe. Anyway, how's it, chat? Evening to everyone. Dylan, Philip, Gavin, the team. Who else is here? Everybody's here. Yazine. 144, Chantel, Willow, and Arbot. Where's Arbot? Arbot, PK. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. George said, yeah, cool. Tonight we're having a chat to Whistler about his expertise in everything tech and gaming, I would presume. Probably more tech, more like the internet, the deep darkness of the internet.
Funny we haven't spoken about the dark web. Why is that? Are you guys scared of the dark
web? I was just about to say, have you ever bought like a young child on the internet or not? This is
asking for a friend.
Yeah, no, asking for a friend. Maybe like I've got iPhones I want to build.
Sorry, I broke up there. What did you say?
God, it's gonna get us all into trouble. We're just gonna. It's like tomorrow, a random phone call. Hi, this is the Hawks. Listen, just want to come pop in. You guys said something about children in the dark web. We're coming for your phone.
Yeah, but they won't come unless you implicate one of their top brass.
Of course.
Or just even another comedian. You need to implicate anybody. Somebody who's a threat.
But I mean, yeah, it's like dark web. Like, I don't think I've ever been on the dark web. I've never gone through the process of just going to go look. I'm just always I don't want my details to get screwed or to get hacked or something.
Well, your credit card details are probably already there, I think. You know what I mean? With all the leaks and stuff and all the hacks, it's probably just sitting in some data set that hasn't been bought or used, or they haven't tried to use yours, but it's
or hasn't been discovered yet.
But that's what I mean. Because my whole standpoint is quite fatalistic. I love the internet, but I've also come to notice from watching all these hacking channels and all these different people, and I know nothing about it. I can't hack shit. You know what I mean? Although I did use AI to help me build 3 apps, which I really thought was cool.
I want to talk about that. Okay, but yeah.
We can definitely talk about that. But I personally am of the opinion that a lot of people out there have no idea how much is being collected about them, even just as a user number. It might not necessarily be linked to your government ID. And then also how these companies have not protected that data and it's either been hacked and it's out there, just hasn't been found, or it's like just openly being sold, which we all know, but I just don't think we know the extent to how it's being sold and what is being sold.
Just a quick one thing there. Ronaldo goes, thanks for the 35. Salty Cracks time. Host sent us. Thank you, sir. Just welcome all the feedbackers for coming in and chatting. We're just doing tech with the infamous dark wizard of the net, Whistler.
Dark wizard of the net. Dude, all of these names, I need to write it down for when I feel bad at a day. I just read all the stuff that Mork calls me and then I feel better, right? I mean,
made up.
So,
but Whistler, from my side, I would wonder what your opinion is on a sort of take like that. You know what I mean? Because you're in the industry.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. First off, let's just maybe, does everybody have an understanding of the dark web, right? What it is or how it exists or whatever. Obviously, without getting too technical, but I mean, what is the dark web? How it is? Let's maybe cover that, right?
Yeah,
the internet has various levels of how information is surfaced or consumed by people, right? The dark web as we know it, or rather the Tor network, Tor stands for the onion router, but it's like how the dark web came to be, I think traces back to like US military or Department of Defense or something somewhere.
Yeah, that's exactly
and it was a way of communicating securely, back in the day. That's not at a foundation level, that's not much different as to using something like WhatsApp or Discord or Telegram or some way to communicate with somebody, though, right? There's an application that runs, and if you need to communicate with somebody else, they also need to be on that application, and that's kind of like how people communicated, right? The thing with the dark web is it was mostly around anonymity, and that's actually a good picture you're bringing up there. It was mostly around anonymity and the ability to hide your location, and that's why it's called the onion network or the onion router, because onions have layers. You kind of like go through these multiple layers when you access the dark web, right? And in that picture that you've got there is good actually, because it kind of like shows the 3 layers of before you get onto the dark web, right? That surface web is where everything that we can just Google and get to, kind of like it surfaces
Take a
like
lot,
news,
Amazon or news. Yeah.
Actually, even something like Takealot, I could argue, goes one level lower. It's more than the deep web. Everything that you have to access, if you need to log in to access and use it, it's actually deep web, not surface web, right?
Okay.
Most company networks really is deep web. It's seen as deep web because you have to connect to your company or connect to that company, log into that system, and then you gain access to that data. That data isn't publicly accessible unless you log into set application, right?
And they run those data centers. Those companies.
Yeah, I mean, whether
they run and maintain those data centers, right?
Yeah, whether it's your internet banking, whether it's Facebook, whatever, all of those things are typically sitting on that deep web level, though, right? You're using the surface web to get to all these things. Google, all those things, obviously surface web, but your Gmail would be deep web. Dark web kind of runs on top of the internet. If you take the internet away, the dark web won't work because it needs the internet to run, right?
Okay.
But that's where it starts getting complicated, and I don't want to necessarily get too technical, but if you think about, like I said, like that onion concept, there's 3 layers of defense or 3 layers of anonymity or encryption before you get to wherever you want to get to. Now, you can access surface web and deep web stuff through the dark web. What I mean with that is you can reach your Gmail through the dark web. You can access your Facebook. You can do whatever. A lot of these websites actually have dark web equivalents as well to access it, just to get to it. But really where the anonymity bit comes in is, let's use this as an example, right? I'm talking to Mork. Mork is talking to Donfolio. Donfolio is talking to Darth. Darth is talking to wherever I'm talking to, though, right? I have knowledge of me talking to Mork, But I don't know who Mork's talking to because Mork talks to Don, right? Don talks to Darth, but Darth doesn't know that the initiation came from either Mork or me. So that's how it kind of like, it's almost like playing Telefunky like in the old days. It's how there's disconnect.
It anonymizes you in like those 3 levels.
It anonymizes you in 3 levels, right? And then you get out to the internet. Now, obviously, when it comes to the dark web, it's internet that's stuck in the 80s almost. That's why the websites don't look as fancy as websites looks today. It looks more old school, like 80s, 90s internet, plain, no fancy graphics, no nothing.
Forums.
Yeah, like all the forums, whatever. It also, your challenge is because of these layers of encryption and layers of anonymity that we've introduced, it introduces latency in when you browse the internet. It's a lot slower, not as easy, and not as responsive as the normal internet would be, because it's not the shortest path to get to that service, like for Netflix or something. It's your entry and exit nodes could be anywhere around the globe. Mork could be in Belgium, Don could be in Spain, Darth could be in Canada, and then we're accessing a service sitting in Australia, right? So if you think about the movies where the traffic goes on the map everywhere, it's kind of like what happens. And that keeps on cycling, right? Every few minutes you would see like your entry and exit nodes change, your intermediate nodes change, etc. It starts getting really interesting with how they anonymize your traffic. So being on the dark web doesn't mean you're completely anonymous, because if you log into the same webmail that you log into normally, you're not being, you're not covering your footsteps. If you're going to be doing that type of stuff, the website or the email you log into or the place to upload files, if you need to share secret files or whatever, you should never, ever, ever connect to that from, not accessing it through the dark web or something. If it's not a dark web exclusive service though, right? But I mean, there should be no ways for them to trace them back. That's what I'm saying. Like, the dark web's more about giving the ability to have that anonymity when you need to do stuff, right? But
but people can still crack that anonymity. Like it's not the like Tor and the Onion router. It's not like complete freedom, and nobody will ever know who you are because can people not find you through Tor still? I mean, there have been people who have been busted, right?
Harder though, right? And it's time sensitive, because you would, in a very short space of time, because every few minutes all your nodes change, right? So you would need to obviously know what it is that I'm accessing and then start trying to reverse engineer that. And a lot of your intermediary nodes don't keep logs, so it starts getting very, very tricky to track people on the dark web. Because if it was easy, then a lot of behavior on the dark web would not have happened. People would not have gotten away with it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's hard to track it on the dark web,
but I mean, it's also almost like that. It's the philosophy behind it is almost like there's honor among thieves, right? It's like you're not going to want to hack the people that are accessing the dark web, because those are potential customers, right? So it's almost like
those dark web markets have got like reviews, like they work on referral. People who buy drugs and stuff, they like go to preferred vendors that are literally they got the thumbs up. They're like, yeah, we buy drugs here, the drugs come, everything's great. And that's how it operates.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the point that I wanted to get to is, right? So to your question, Don, where you were saying is like, I'm sure there's leaked information on the dark web and whatever is, you're not wrong. I just think it's very hard to prove that you're right or wrong. We have to assume.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying that is the dark web is unindexed. What I mean with unindexed is Google has ways of crawling, Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, whatever. They all have ways of like crawling the internet and seeing what's out there. And then they try and like surface that information to make it searchable for you, right? And that has matured over years. That doesn't exist in the dark web. There's nothing that crawls the dark web to surface that information. So the dark web's very old school in that way, that there's, for lack of a better word, almost like a bulletin board or like a maintained website, like the hidden wiki or something that's like your starting point, where if, like from here, I know I can go to the search engine or I can go there. There are some search engines, but it's a very static search engine. It's a search engine that says, hey, I give you the ability to search this list of websites, and somebody may manually maintains a list of websites or a list of things, though, right? So
I think I've got a good analogy for this. It's almost like, because I watched Stargate like 2 weekends ago. It's almost like Stargate. Like when you say it's unindexed, if you don't have the address of the specific place, there's no search repository where you can go and type in, like, for example, looking for drugs, and then the dark web lists like potential options that you can go and look at. You either have the coordinates or you don't. And if you don't have it, you can't get there unless they make it available, correct? I mean, it's basically, when you say unindexed, it's like you can start like put a IP, a domain or whatever there, and if you don't list it or share it to anybody, no one will ever find you, correct? Unless somebody mistakenly types something.
DNS works, right? It's because we have DNS, or the domain name system. Kind of like what DNS is to the internet is what the old school telephone books was to us, right? Everybody had their name in the telephone book and their number, and you kind of like knew, okay, I need to phone Mork. Oh yes, he is this number, right? That's how you would subscribe to it, so that your number is in the list, and you could choose obviously to not have yourself listed, but that's essentially because we don't remember IP addresses. We remember www.google.com and gmail.com and whatever. So I see a point from Drautman, and we'll get to that in a sec. So from a dark web perspective so we now have manually maintained sources on the internet, but it's more a case of like it's the ability to host stuff and securely communicate on top of the internet, and very, very hard for people to see what you're doing. So if you're going to be doing something questionable and you do spin up this forum website where people can buy and sell or advertise or whatever, right? It's going to be a digital version of some underground where you have to, after 10 p.m. every night, you walk up to this door, you knock 3 times, you wait, you scratch on the door and knock 3 times, and then that's your access code to get in. People that would know. Those things are shared on underground forums and whatever. So it's very secretive. It's mostly how these things are accessible on the dark web. Not everything is like Google and it just surfaces it. So a lot of that, and as an example, if you want to see when companies, so back to Don's point, right? Let me send you a link quickly. It is called Ransom Lock.
Don't click on it. Don't click on it.
No, you can click on it. It's fine. But I
just want to, while Whistler's looking, I just want to say, listen, to Adrian, thank you for the super chat. I kind of am following what Whistler's saying. It's not completely just acting. My acting is not anywhere as good as to be able to just pretend I know what he's talking about. Half the shit is lost, but some of it I totally get. So thank you. And also big up to Pete Savenga for the super chat.
But I don't want it to be lost. So if I'm not explaining something,
how
do I send you? How do I send you the link in the private chat?
Oh, you can send me a Discord if you want, or whatever's easiest.
Okay,
Discord or the private chat. Yeah. Either.
So I completely know what you're talking about. Like I'm following exactly where we're at all the way. Every word I know.
You just make it worse, don't you? Fuck.
I did want to ask a question, but I think you answered it. Let's say I want to do something questionable on the dark web. I'm assuming I have to know where I'm looking for. I can't just go, where do I, purchase?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. There is some stuff that is. No, go for it.
Sorry, Whistler. No, I was just going to say it's interesting when you said use it for nefarious purposes. I mean, the dark web's also used for getting information out there so people don't get assassinated. There's a lot of whistleblowing happening out there. Not, you know what I mean? I know there's tons of bad stuff, and obviously the word dark web, I mean, it just gives it that.
Yeah, it gives
sound,
it
right?
almost like a bad connotation to it.
But but it's not. It's then I get the anonymizing part of it, and for there's probably like a lot of good stuff that also happens, right? That you don't hear about it.
100%, and I think the thing is with the dark web though is it's not just about questionable stuff. I mean, yes, it is it's how it's being used, but it's also a secure way of communicating for the average person that doesn't have access to other ways of secure communication, though, right? Because the moment you have a very secure way of communicating, like let's say we come up with this new super high encryption way of communicating, somebody's going to either stop us from doing it or buy the technology from us, right? Because there's no way as public we'll be able to have something that's better than whatever defense division or whatever it's going to have. So it starts getting very tricky. And if you think stuff like WhatsApp specifically has always been bad at it, don't be fooled for the encryption and stuff that they say, it's all encrypted or whatever, 100%. Right? Those things aren't 100% encrypted. And I mean, it's not clearly written that it is, and it's also not clearly written that it isn't. But if you understand enough about the technology, you can see that it's flawed in some ways. Whereas there are other places where it is encrypted, something like Signal, for example, much better encryption, and they also have like a private version of Signal you can run because that's the version that the US government uses. I think it's called Signal Red or something. I can't remember what it's called. But on the dark web, though, yes, you're right. Even if you want to do something that's questionable or whatever, or you want to share information of a leak or something with somebody, it's one way of sharing it so that at least when that information that you are sharing is in transit, it can't be intercepted, because that's usually where stuff gets intercepted, right? People think, I'm on a VPN, so I'm using this VPN to log into my Gmail so that I can send this leaked document to Mork. Yeah. You're using Google servers, whatever. The important bits aren't being protected there when the data is at rest, right? So, and that's where services on the dark web, for example, exists. But it's used for good and bad. But it's like with anything, though, right? Even cryptocurrency. I mean, cryptocurrency was done just after the GFC in 2008. Cryptocurrency came out, and it was this way to have this decoupled currency so that you're not linked to countries or governments making poor decisions, and then money goes to shit. So all of a sudden, cryptocurrency became this untraceable way of paying for stuff, and it's become that internet underground currency to pay for stuff, right? Because it's very, very hard to trace. I'm not saying it's impossible to trace. I'm not saying it is possible to trace. It's just very, very hard to trace, because inherently cryptocurrency, the way how the blockchain works, you can track back to where stuff got into the blockchain. So it really depends on how you want to forensically look at it. You could trace back transactions. The problem just is there's no owner to a bank account. There's no FICA process that happens. So I don't know who owns a bank account. So I need to have all these other little bits of information in that chain, that Mork logged into his Luno, and then he did something at a point in time that I know, this happened, and then I can forensically link it back to other stuff.
Mork promoted his crypto coin, and then rug pulled his audience and flashed his wallet on the screen.
But I mean, like, you're 100% right, because the thing is, like, if there's an account I follow on X that just basically shows when big transactions happen in crypto. So this is anything. This is like whether it be Doge, whether it be your Bitcoin, Litecoin, any of it. There's an account that just, because you can see the transaction, right? But you can't see. All it can see is it can go like, okay, cool. So this person has sent money from, I don't know, from this exchange or this private wallet account to this exchange, or from one wallet to another wallet. No one knows who owns the wallet. And it's like the thing that you just mentioned, like the vibe with Luno, it's almost impossible, because like Luno's got their own Bitcoin account. So if I transfer Bitcoin from some random address to that account, you don't know who the person was, like, unless you can go to Luno and somehow find the information, right? That would be a difficult one to crack, right?
Yeah, but again, it depends on how you've used it, right? If you've in any point in time used Luno, linked your Luno to your FNB account or something, because I know Luno can link to FNB, pay money out, you're leaving evidence, right? And it's I mean, let's maybe before we do that, I want to, Drautman is saying what about BGP hijacking? I get that. BGP hijacking, BGP is a routing protocol, so it is It's when attackers maliciously make you think how your traffic is routing. I don't want to get too complicated with it. It's almost like a man in the middle attack in a way, whereby I control where your traffic goes to. That's a very sophisticated attack, and it really, again, depends on the situation, because somebody needs to be targeted, in my opinion, for that to work. And if you're really going to be going onto the dark web, I think you should double layer it and then use a VPN in addition to that, because the first thing you should protect is that nobody can trace it back to where you're coming from, your home IP or wherever it is. Whether if you're going to be doing questionable stuff, do it from Mug and Bean or something. Don't do it from your home internet. Go and do it from Mug and Bean somewhere and sit in the corner where there's no camera on you, I guess, on the laptop that you didn't buy with a credit card. But I don't want to be giving away how to be a cyber criminal, but again,
I mean, I don't think that's what you're doing. Personally.
Forensically,
it's a very interesting chat. Yeah.
So think about this. You guys have all watched by now. Hopefully, people have all watched that show on Netflix with the bully, right? Where that school girl was bullied. Right. I can't remember what the show was called.
I know what you're talking about. But the one thing annoyed me was how did they not is there no caller ID in America? How did they not?
100%. That's what freaking was grinding me the whole time. I'm like, why is the FBI taking so long to do something like that? Why did they not give the child a new number? How does the number not leak out? All of those questions, though, right? I mean, I know in the end you can kind of make sense is that the person that got the new number is also the person that was abusing the number type of thing. But I mean, again, I don't know who watched it, so I don't want to give away the whole thing. But it did annoy me how hard it was for them to track that, because I would literally not do the wrong thing because I know how easy it is for you to breadcrumb information, right? And the problem is, all you need to do is breadcrumb one thing that somebody can get to link it back to you. And it all just depends on how enthusiastic they are, I guess, about subpoenaing every little piece of infrastructure you've gone to, everything in the chain. Inside companies, again, today I'm wearing a red team shirt, but if I were to wear a blue team shirt inside a company, defensive security, dude, it's really hard for people to screw around without you knowing what they're doing, because we own 99% of the infrastructure that they're doing it on, right? It's all our servers, all our things. So somewhere you are breadcrumbing enough information for us to know that it was you.
So for example, if I work for your company, right, and I'm going on the web doing shit, you can then, if the boss, because obviously you work for the owner, and the owner goes, listen, or the corporation, and go I want to know what Mork was doing for 9 hours of the day, because maybe he didn't do any sales or some shit, he wasn't mailing people. You can see everywhere I was, basically, because it's on their infrastructure, right? It's the network, everything is owned by the company.
Simple. That's a simple example to see how you do it. But let's say, for example, your company has a anonymous survey, right? There's a survey that you send out to all of your employees that is asking about something, though, right? Whatever the company needs to know, right? The survey is anonymous because you don't want to victimize individuals. But somewhere one of those individuals makes a death threat on somebody, as an example. I'm not saying that this has happened. I'm just saying as an example, right?
This
survey is about, let's say, asking for company culture. What do you want to change? What don't you want to change? The survey is kind of light, but you're leaving it anonymous so that people don't feel like they'll be victimized if they say, oh, I need more T-shirt days on the Friday or something, right?
Yeah.
But now somebody makes a death threat on it.
In the kitchen, please.
So now somebody makes a death threat, though, right? That would be quite serious. But inherently, the stuff was anonymous. Now, this is where that statement from nothing's really anonymous comes in. For 99% of the tools out there, I won't know who clicked on the link, but forensically, we can go and check based on all the other evidence. Like, when was the entry into the database, when the guy submitted their entry into this survey now, right? Oh, it was 33 minutes past 8. Then we go and check, okay, cool, who's clicked on all of the links at roughly
on
this
the
time?
terminal.
Wait, at 27 minutes past 8, Mork clicked on the link. Okay. Most likely it's Mork or something like that, though, right? As you start looking at all these pieces of evidence, that's what makes it so hard on the dark web, because you don't own all that infrastructure you go to, and you can't necessarily subpoena all the companies, right? That's why if you go and look at like which VPN provider is better, is the VPN provider that one doesn't give in to subpoenas when they get summoned, you know, when somebody needs to give me the logs for this IP address between this and this date, or whatever the case might be. And obviously the countries where they operate, you know, legally they might not be able to let certain information, to leak certain info, though, right? So
wait, sorry. Before you, well, if you're done, I wanted to just, I almost forgot you wanted me to bring up this ransom look file.
So this is one link, for example. Okay, it doesn't really matter about what it is we're showing. This website is one website that all of these hacker groups, it's kind of like your claim to fame to say, hey, we have we've hacked the Mork Rock Show company, and we've put all this public data available. They give a sample of the data, they hold your ransom for it, and all the other data is there, right? This group's called Akira. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see one of the links ends in the .onion, somewhere there with URLs.
Oh, yeah.
You see, like, it's like an ugly long URL, and then it says .onion.
Good. It looks like it literally looks like almost like a, what do you call it, a crypto password, like a, you know,
something like that, like cipher. A very complicated password, right? Yeah. So there are some companies like Facebook, the Washington Post, a couple of them, they all have like their own dark web URLs, but only like the first little bit starts with Facebook. Like they kind of like could make the first little numbers, but then the rest of it's completely random. .onion, and .onion is that top level domain, like you have .com and .co.za and whatever, right? So all the .onion links aren't routable on the surface web or the deep web. You have to use a Tor browser to access it. That's why the Tor browser or the Onion network or whatever, it has access to things that's sitting on that .onion domain. So everywhere where you're going to try and connect to on the dark web is going to have like some URL that ends in .onion. So if you ever read like some article, you know, on some business, what's it called, Business Tech or whatever that news site is, and they say, so-and-so company was hacked and the hackers put this information available on the dark web, and then you'll see this like a URL. You click on the URL, your browser will know what to do with it. If it ends in that .onion, that's how it knows it's a dark web URL. You have to use a dark web browser to get to it.
I'll give you something. So wait, I have a question now. So speaking of, because obviously we obviously dabble in politics here. The hacking, obviously this is no news currently. There was this whole vibe that Russia hacked the elections. Remember the story? It was basically 2016. Yeah. 2016. Yeah. Basically what happened was they said that Russia hacked the election. They were like, it has to do with WikiLeaks received all this, like it had the DNC server was hacked. What had happened, the DNC got a private security company to evaluate the situation. The FBI didn't touch any of the computers. They didn't touch any of the servers. This private company, which is paid for by the DNC, looked at it and they said that the people who hacked it was Russians. Then I remember there was still an article coming. I was looking at this going, I don't know about this, because what's the guy's name from WikiLeaks said it was given to us. It was what do you call it? There was an insider. Julian Assange said it was leaked, right? And they went, no, it wasn't. So, and then I remember there was an interview with John McAfee. What the fuck is his proper name? John McAfee, right, from McAfee Software. And he came out and said basically, there's no way, like when, you know, if someone leaves like a fingerprint saying that it's Russian, they used Russian language here and there, it's like that's purposefully done to kind of put you off the scent. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that type of stuff? Like when it like, is it, I'm imagining everything is like from hackers, everything is code, zeros and ones and fucking, and C++. I mean.
So here's the thing though, right? Let's keep it simple.
Yeah.
Let's keep it simple.
The chat is hating the dark web chat. They're like, why are you guys talking about this? don't people are going to start doing this. It's like the chat's
No one's
freaking
gonna
out. I'm
start
like,
doing it. Calm down.
Okay, well, nobody's saying you should do any of this stuff or anything. It's just, it does exist.
So here's the thing, though, right? Let's say you wake up tomorrow morning, okay, and you have an email in your Gmail to say that there was 17 attempts to hack your Gmail, right?
Yeah.
And Gmail tells you that don't worry, your Gmail wasn't hacked or whatever, but there's 17 attempts from it, okay? And it tells you that all 17 attempts comes from Russia.
Yeah.
What's your first assumption going to be?
Are you using a VPN?
So, well, no, I'm getting to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going like.
Somebody from Russia is
That
trying
will
to
be
hack
my
me,
first
right?
assumption. I also
Why
won't
is
click on any
Russia
links
trying
saying
to-
reset your password now.
But if I am going to be hacking you, why am I going to hack you from a home IP address? Why am I going to even hack you from South Africa? I'm going to hack you from
100%.
somewhere else as a
Precaution.
decoy or as a precaution as to
100%.
Now you can double VPN, you can triple VPN. There's many ways of doing that, and then you can dark web it. Dude, it makes it so fucking hard to get to your traffic, though, right?
Use Tails.
So, yeah, there's many ways of doing it. Let me show you this little thing, right? This is a travel router that we use. I travel with this thing. I use it at the office every day. This is like a little portable Wi-Fi router, right?
So wait, you don't connect to like the hotel. So wait. Were you telling us don't connect to the hotel's Wi-Fi network?
You never connect to the hotel Wi-Fi.
I stopped doing that years ago. Phone data.
Okay, where do you get that?
Or nothing. Phone data.
So wait, okay. So now listen. Good. This is a good one. So, for example, that travel, is it one that connects via SIM card, or do you route your computer through your own device, which connects to their Wi-Fi, or is this just like
all of the above?
Okay.
All of the
Explain.
above. So
elaborate.
You can do. So there's many ways of how you can do it. So, for example, let's say you have NordVPN or whatever VPN service, right?
Yeah.
You can pre-configure it on this router, and then you have something called a kill switch. What it means is if the VPN is not up, if your NordVPN didn't connect to wherever you want NordVPN to connect to, right? Nothing is exposed to the internet. So what it means is that if I'm sitting in a hotel Wi-Fi, okay, I can tell this thing connects to the Hilton Wi-Fi now, great. And then my iPad and my laptop and my phone and everything connects to this, okay? Which means I'm my own Wi-Fi, so nobody intercepts my Wi-Fi traffic, right? And this thing connects to the hotel Wi-Fi. Obviously, there's a risk because the hotel Wi-Fi could get intercepted, right?
Yeah.
We don't want that. So let this thing then VPN somewhere for you. There's multiple ways of doing it. You can do WireGuard. You can set up your own VPN servers. I have my own VPN servers running WireGuard. There's different ones that you can use for this. But then there's a kill switch. If this thing doesn't have internet access, it won't give your devices internet until its internet is up. It's one way of never, ever exposing your devices directly to the internet because you're hiding it via VPN. But this thing has a little switch on the side. I flick that switch, immediately it's on the dark web. This router then creates a connection to the dark web, and I can double VPN it if I want, right? The simplest way of getting onto the dark web is something like this.
So wait, but you still need now. Do you with that? If you switch it on, do you still then like obviously what do you access the dark web with? Do you still have to run Tor?
No, then you can use any browser.
But
you don't have to use
there's
a Tor browser to access the dark web. You just need to have a Tor browser to give you an ingress node into something so that you get your 1, 2, 3 dark web hubs. This thing becomes one of them, though, right? You can still use a Tor browser on this. Then it's going to double dark web it.
Okay.
This thing will have its dark web, and then your Tor browser will establish a dark web, though, right?
But now my question is, so what do you use the dark web for?
What do I use the dark web for?
Apart from like trying to like
work context, mostly to go and look for leaked information.
Okay.
Not necessarily our information. It's if it's some information that I think might contain our information. For example, let's say we're all in a company, right? Important company. And our important company uses Yahoo Mail for our mail communication, all right? And it then gets said that Yahoo Mail was hacked and that everything on Yahoo Mail leaked out for the last 15 years. But we're busy acquiring another company and we want to bring investor Ronaldo into this, right? Or something like that, right? And that's super secret. We don't want people to know about it. Now I want to go and see is like, is my information even part of this leak? Or what was part of this leak?
Okay.
And we try and go and find and see what is in that leak. Sometimes it's more a case of like to who it may concern. And then we go and try and hunt for these things on the dark web to see what we find. And then you download the data, you go through the data, whatever. It's a lot harder to take stuff down on the dark web than what is on the surface web. Surface web, they just summons.
Yeah, they summons the people. Dark web. If I was hosting something, if I was hosting, for example, your credit card details or like your home address, or like a bunch of people just going like, I'm just exposing. There's nothing you can do to take down my website or whatever if it's on the dark web. You can do jack shit, right?
Very, very hard, yeah. Very, very hard.
Like
law enforcement level type of stuff. Dude, there was a case in 2020 or 2021 where an offender, a predator, was hosting questionable content of underage, whatever content,
South African rand.
And it was hosted in his home.
I would love to hear that Darth Sean has
a
to
laptop
say about
with
why he's
USB hard drives
right now.
connected to the laptop, sealed inside. You know, like at the American houses, or those
there's like
whatever stuff.
Yeah.
In the wall, plastered over it. It was hosted like that there. That's where the website with the questionable content was hosted. Very hard to get to that because you need to pinpoint the data to that location. I don't know how the law enforcement did it.
Hectic.
Crazy.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Dropman is saying, where did I buy this router?
Well, over the dark web.
Wait, hold on 1 second quickly.
Dropman imported it. The easiest way to say. You can get different models at GWiz, but this is called the GL-iNet Slate 7. I can put the link in chat. The reason why I have the Slate 7 is it is one of the fastest little routers, portable routers you can get, in my opinion. If you ever think about like a corporate use case where you have 5, 6, 7 execs all sitting at a hotel and they're all working from a hotel or something like that, this is one little device that'll get onto the internet, and all of your execs, all of their iPads, all of their laptops and phones, everything will connect to this, and you won't be bottlenecking this device. This thing packs quite a lot of punch, 2.5 gig Ethernet ports, Wi-Fi 7, Cortex processor. It's a very nice device. It's about 3,500 Rand.
Ow.
They are cheaper ones, though. Nothing wrong with them. They just don't have the performance of this one. But if, as an individual, they will be perfectly fine. But this is geared towards like a group of people that's working in a location that you can trust. Yeah.
Like you go to China for a meeting. So you go to, for example, you go to China and you're having a meeting with people, and then like obviously you don't want the CCP to get hold of your data. You use one of those.
It's getting tricky because they don't like when you VPN, and there's some countries where we're not allowed to travel with us.
Really? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
I can't share the detail of that, but there is countries that like this thing and this thing will get me locked up. Like I know, don't even fuck around, don't travel with it. Yeah.
Hectic. Peter Savenga sent a super chat. He wants to know. He would love to know what Darth Sean has to say about why he's smiling right now. Why are you smiling right now?
I sent Darth Sean a link on the dark web.
I'm having like a private conversation with everyone in Discord.
Why?
Because,
we have a chat.
I noticed that.
Because Reese was asking me, like, tell her what I'm feeling, and I was like, like Gavin's like, everyone's like asking, like, you know, there's a whole conversation happening in Discord, and
well, how are you feeling, Sean? Tell him.
Yeah, I'm so fucking clueless with the conversation. Like, I'm worried that if I do say something, I might come across like a, you know,
even more tarded.
Yeah, even
It's
more.
fine. We love it.
Should we
So I've
talk a
put
bit
two
about
links
the
in
AI
chat.
coding?
Yes,
if you
yes, I do.
want?
I've put 2 links in chat.
We'll get to
The
that.
first one to GL Inet, Drotman and Gavin. That's the one that I have and imported straight from GL Inet. If you go onto their onto GL Inet's website, their shopping website, go to the Australia or the Asia Pacific site. They actually ship to South Africa. The US and UK ones don't ship to South Africa, but the Australian one does. If you want to buy a local, there's a cheaper version, the slightly smaller than this. That's the second link that I posted. That's on GWiz.
I don't see your link.
Oh shit, I can't paste links.
Hold on. Let me fix that quickly, Whistler.
Why?
Just say hi in the chat quickly, Whistler. And I can just fix it. Sorry.
Thank you,
my bad.
Knight. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I gonna get spanned? Like fucking spanned? Now I can't time out Reese, damn it.
I did have a question earlier on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I tend to so when I browse, there's a particular come across a YouTube video, I like to tend to start investigating, and I tend to go down a rabbit hole. Is there any way, not that I want to do this, but is there any way that someone by accidentally can stumble across the dark web? No, I'm very serious. Is it hard? Okay, cool.
No, you need Tor.
You need
if you don't have Tor, yeah. Tor is
you
the
need special
point,
software
right?
to access the dark
if
web.
I got it correctly.
Or you need to have something that's already got a connection to the dark web. So if you're using an unquestionable Wi-Fi that's routed through the dark web, then, but you won't know that you're on the dark web. You can still access the surface web the way how we do it today. You can literally use a Tor browser like it is a VPN service.
All right.
Yeah.
So my kid isn't browsing the internet and then suddenly he's on the dark web.
No. Okay. Your kid would need to have the Tor browser installed, and then depending on what router you have at home, you could you could block dark web type of websites and stuff as well.
No, it's all right. That little fucker will just get a kick in the face. It's cool.
Put your face here. All right. I'm curious to talk. Yes. Did we talk about vibe coding the last time when we spoke? I can't remember.
Oh, I think you guys did.
So vibe coding is what Donna referred to earlier. It's like, I've used AI to write my own apps and all that stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
As a non-technical, non-developer type of person, it's kind of like been dubbed as vibe coding. It is where you're using AI to write code or write an app or whatever, where you aren't a developer or something like that, though, right? I mean,
yeah, you're just talking to the AI in English, and it's trying to build out
whatever it is that you're asking for, yeah.
As opposed to knowing what a package JSON is, or all these different extensions and all of that. It creates all of that for you by just speaking to it. So, a friend of mine got me to install Visual Code Studio, and then I was using Microsoft Copilot, and I'd never built anything.
That's your.
Well,
yeah, I'm not surprised.
Copilot's
the AI there is.
Well, it worked for me, but for building those apps, you know what I mean? It made it look cool. It was doing exactly what I wanted it to do. And then what I picked up from looking at the code, I started to realize, oh, green is good, orange is not so good, and red is definitely not good.
Where did you see that? When the code was
coding? Well, just when I was noticing on the side when it was building stuff, I was like, when it's struggling, what's all this orange stuff? What's all this red stuff? And then all this green stuff, that seems to be working.
See, the problem is with vibe coding, though, right? And don't get me wrong, I am not dissing anybody that vibe codes. Vibe coding for me is awesome because it allows people to bring their ideas to life, okay? The problem is, and it's an education thing, it's an awareness thing, whereby the people bringing the ideas to life, like in your case, you have this app that you want to develop. You develop the app based on functionality. That is your core requirement, is I need an app that does something. Nobody starts writing an app that's secure. and then making it do stuff, right? You write an app that solves a problem, whatever your problem is. Inherently, it's not going to be secure because AI isn't taught to make it secure. AI is taught to develop this functionality. And that's fine. But if you think about like people saying like, oh, AI is going to take our jobs away, AI is going to, replace all of these jobs and people are sitting with our jobs and whatever. I disagree, because your hardcore developers that spend years studying and spend years developing and doing QA and doing app development and whatever, they have a career path now that's called rescue practitioners or vibe coding rescue practitioners. That's essentially a new modern age term for somebody that fixes non-coders code so that it is secure. So literally you take your app that you've developed.
Jobs.
It is. You take the app that you developed, right?
Yeah.
You bring it to somebody that says, cool, I'm a rescue practitioner. So you pay me, I don't know, 1,000 Rand and I'll fix your app for you, or however that works. There's various ways of obviously selling your service. But then let me then worry about the stuff that you won't inherently even think about. For example, rate limiting your application or doing input validation or small stuff like that, right? Those words probably sounds like Greek to you, but to a developer, they know exactly what those things mean, because those are the things that in cybersecurity we exploit. Yeah. And the reason why I want to mention it is, Mork, I'm going to send you, is it easier on Discord?
Yeah, easier on Discord, yeah.
On Discord. Okay, I want to send you quickly a screenshot of a guy.
But the thing is, what you raised is quite interesting, because I've seen it as well. So even when it comes to graphic design, and I mean, like, I think a lot of the graphic designers will be able to tell you this. Even with AI out there are still things that I think that AI can't do. Like, for example, okay, cool, it can make you an image of something you want, right? The problem is it can't ever adjust that. That's what I've noticed. That when it comes to either images, video, it can take something and do it, but it's like, okay, no, I want that specific part to be like, like you made this hypothetical, there's this, like, image of this chick holding a lightsaber. It's like, okay, cool, I want her eyes to be red. I want the little shoulder thing to be a bit more pointy. As soon as you try and input that, it just goes horribly wrong. The same when it comes to, I think we spent about 3 months trying to fuck around with the AI video stuff. And it's just like, to make an adjustment, it just can't do that yet. Like, you still, like, I think we're probably 5, almost 10 years away from it being able to interpret that look that only comes from.
I think it's less than that. I think it's less
probably
than
say
that.
5 years. I mean, like, again, I'm going to correct myself and say probably 5 years.
I think we're like a year away from it, to be honest.
Because I mean, like, remember, like, Will Smith eating spaghetti was a year ago. Like, now Will Smith can eat spaghetti like it's, but there's still small things that it really struggles with. I mean, again, I'd probably, like, you're right. Between a year, I'd say on the long run, 5 years before it can do, like.
The only reason people say, oh, AI's going to take our jobs is because, like, Sam Altman and all these guys who run these companies are all going, AI's going to take 50% of the jobs. That's what we kind of want. That's what we're working towards. They like literally tell you, hey, that's the plan.
I think that's
right?
a very,
doesn't mean it's going to happen.
That's a very broad statement from somebody like that. But it's one of those things is, I'm not saying AI is not going to replace some job somewhere, whether it's 50% of the jobs, I disagree.
Yeah.
It's going to make the people's lives easier.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes our time to respond from a cyber perspective so much faster, because we developed stuff. It's called agents. We developed agents that we use. Whereas if you think about ChatGPT, right? You type into ChatGPT is like, hey, tell me the story about, the Titanic on the iceberg. And if you want to get creative, you can say, tell it to me from the point of view of the iceberg or something, right? Haha, it's funny, it's great, right? But think about saying to ChatGPT, it's like, hey, I have this IP address. Tell me X, Y, and Z about it. Okay, ChatGPT might give you some information. We've built a version for ourselves that goes and does some heavy lifting for us, like telling it like, hey, these IPs are malicious. do your thing. I know exactly what it's going to come back with. It's going to tell me everything about the IP, all of the abuse information, et cetera, that I need though, right? So that has just made us so much better to respond because I can now very quickly, let it gather information that I would traditionally have to do one by one. I can now give it a list of like 40 IP addresses and let it go and do that for me. And then I can tell it like,
that
hey,
can go and that can send off other agents, right? Like a whole
correct.
little army of bot agents out there doing the stuff.
Does little things and come back. It's almost like thinking about like auto Googling stuff, but the Google bit behind the scenes is purpose built and very clever, doing 1 or 2 or 3 very specific things.
Yeah.
And it's called agents, right? So we've used that as an example, right? So I mean, that's one case where it's like you're fighting fire with fire, right? I'm using that to very quickly go and do something for me. So in seconds, I'm getting a ton of information back, and I can now make a decision again. Whereas usually, like in the movies, it's like, oh, Mork, I want a report on this thing on my desk in an hour, right? And then Mork goes and he fucking researches stuff and whatever. And an hour later, you're bringing me a report. I'm getting that report in 5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean,
and I can make more decisions based on that, right?
But I mean, that's why I find with it currently, yeah. I mean, I looked at it and going, AI is tackling like the creative arts, but if you're, I'm talking about, I'd say for now, it's like maybe people who like, you want to do a storyboard. There's a lot of people that have, I think, lost their jobs when it comes to drawing up a storyboard for like a project, maybe a commercial, because now guys can, instead of hiring somebody who's an animator, you can just go, well, I can just prompt these things, right? It's easier. But when it comes to like actual graphic design, logo design, shit like that, I think it's taking away people's jobs from Fiverr. It's not taking on the people who do intense graphic design at like commercial level. Maybe it's starting to. And I'd say with that one, you're probably about a year or 2 away where it's going to be, okay, fuck it. You don't need these people anymore. It can take their jobs. But I mean, like, I don't care if it's taking away call center jobs, like people replying to email and shit like that. That's going to make my time and your time and everybody else's time. Like, imagine you don't have to hire a call center with 1,000 people because AI is replying to people phoning in. It can redirect. But I still have an issue with that. For example, like the 99% of the ISPs have this online fucking, what's it called, bot thing that like, oh my God, it's the worst thing ever. Like with the bank, it's like going, okay, none of these things I have a problem with. I just want to talk to someone. And it just reroutes you so that you never get to someone, which kills me. And I'm like, I just want to talk to a human being.
Now, okay, a lot to unpack there, though, right? So let's quickly go back to the point on you were making like so okay. So I want to separate the call center bit. I want to go back to the point of now I lost my train of thought.
Graphic design.
Yeah. Think about it like this. I think if you look at the discussion or the keynote address that Elon Musk had a couple of weeks ago, talking about Grok 5.
Yeah.
Elon has had a history of delivering on a rough timeline promises, though, right?
Yeah.
So, Elon is saying that by the end of the year, he would want to use Grok to be able to create like a short form film, like 30 or 45 minutes film, right? And by the end of next year, he wants it to create like a full-length film. That's crazy goals to set, though, right? Yeah. And I mean, if you look at how much he's pumping into the data centers, how many GPUs they have, whatever, probably not going to be impossible to get to something like that. And I think AI is getting a lot better. It's just the version of AI that we have access to. We just haven't found the right one, because at a specific point in time, like Google's AI is a little bit better at doing images or doing this or doing that, making changes to stuff. As the AI is getting better, but it doesn't stop you from creating your own version of that AI that understands that context a little bit better when you start making changes to photos, etc. But the point I want to try and get to, let's say you are a graphic artist, okay, and you do work on commission for companies when you make ads. One of your biggest challenges is, in my opinion, and I'm not a graphic artist, so I'm curious to see if other people agree, but one of your biggest challenges when it comes to putting anything out there is royalties to images and stuff that you use, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm
that's the
creating,
thing.
if I'm using AI as part of my workflow to go and create me this background that looks like this, or this type of like super stupid little picture of a cup or whatever it is for my coffee company or something like that, though, right?
Yeah.
Or automatically you have assets in your library that you own the royalties to because AI created it.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the point that I was trying to get. So, I mean, I'm not saying that for some people, AI might not take their jobs away, but like a hardcore graphic artist, I think they should be using it to their advantage like that.
Yeah.
Because you can start pulling on assets and stuff very quickly. AI is eventually going to get better. With like you say, with the interaction of how you make micro changes and stuff to images and things. But I think if you make it part of your workflow, it does give you an advantage. The other point that I wanted to make is you were talking about call centers taking jobs away, all of those things, right? Again, I don't think I disagree with that. I think if you think about like how many times have you, like let's say you want to buy a new laptop, right?
Yeah.
You know you kind of want an Alienware laptop because you want an Alienware, right? Your mind's set on that. But now you need some technical little bits about that Alienware laptop that, like, how are you going to find it? You can either go onto the Alienware website and you're going to search for the laptop specs and you're going to read through the specs and you might, may or may not find what you want.
End up on a forum or some shit. That's the only way
somewhere,
that you can.
Or you're going to try and Google it, or you're going to watch a video and hopefully someone says it somewhere or whatever. So something like those, like an intelligent version of a chatbot that runs on those websites is actually really great because you literally ask the bot to say, hey, I want to buy this Alienware. I need to know whether it has 2 M.2 slots or not, right? That's the answer that I'm looking for. And something like that could surface it for you, very, very easily. But call center agents is a simple one because it's literally somebody that's just playing switchboard and it directs you to
reading a script.
Very simple one to replace. But I mean, it's about how companies should find other ways to still employ those people because somebody, I guess, in a way, has to still train or maintain the bot. Those things aren't just set and forget, though, right?
No.
Like how it responds, whether the bot works. And it's usually easier to test the bot if you're a person that knows what you're testing. It's pointless getting some manager somewhere to test the bot versus somebody that actually works in a call center. So here call center agents all of a sudden becomes call center bot QA testers. Is your bot clever enough? Can I ask it dumb enough questions? Does it surface what it shouldn't? Like IBM or Lenovo had one the other day. They were breached because of how their bot was built. And the hackers got onto their bot and managed to convince the bot to create an on-premises server in their cloud.
What?
Sharing information. Dude, it was crazy. And it was all over the internet. It was crazy. But hey, I want to get to the screenshot that I sent you.
I can't wait for job creation with bots hiring people to go do real world things. Like, hey, I need you to go check out this property for my client. Okay, Mr. Bot, off I go in my car. Oh, there's my money in my account.
Not impossible though, right? Not impossible. You becoming like, okay, in a world where there's no self-driving cars, you becoming the Google car that goes and records all the video.
Or the bot needs information on a property, and the bot needs information on a property. There's no property available, or there's no information available that it needs. So then it hires a human being to go out and collect that data for its client. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. It was just
it's again, I don't think everybody thinks at it like that though, right?
Yeah.
People are all just like, oh, AI is going to take over the world. Guys, we're very far from that. But is AI going to replace some jobs? Probably yes. But it's also going to be creating jobs. Guys, there's job titles that haven't even been thought out yet.
No, that's the thing. So that's the thing. People like think about the horse and buggy, right? It's like, oh no, all these horse and buggy people that service horses and make the buggy wheels are all going to be replaced. And then it created an entire industry of people making cars, car parts, car tires, car servicing. Yet. Like I think about it, it's 10 times bigger than the initial industry. The same shit can happen here. You know what I mean? Sorry, you wanted to say something about the screenshot you shared.
Those screenshots, that guy, what is his name there? Leo or something, right? Look at his tagline on Twitter. Look at the description that it says there. It's something like vibe coding for my fishing addiction or something.
Yeah.
If you zoom it in, I can't see nicely on this.
It says vibe coding
to fund my fishing addiction, right?
Yeah.
It's like you vibe coding to fund my gaming addiction. You vibe coding to fund my music addiction or whatever it is, right? So this guy built a wrapper. So what is a wrapper? A wrapper is when you build a user interface, like an app. It uses AI in the background to go and do something for you, right? You're writing a wrapper. So using AI, an app that has AI into it, but you're building your own user interface to the AI. And this guy built some wrapper, right? So this guy bragging how much money he made. Okay, 1.5 million US year to date, whatever on his money, right? Happy for him. He had some cool idea, and I don't think it's a full 5 years, but that's like how long the account obviously shows. I don't know if it's been in a full 5 years, because realistically, he would have only started doing it in the last 3 years. But be it as it may, he's made $1.5 million. Okay, this is one example. There's hundreds of these examples of people with success stories of them writing their first app. Okay, if you go to this guy's Twitter profile, he brags about it over and over and over. Okay, and what's the first thing he did? He grabbed attention. So if you go to the second screenshot that I sent you.
Hold on a sec. Let me open that one. Here we go. Got it.
All right. So look at what he's saying there. He's like, guys, I'm under attack. Ever since I started to share how I built my SaaS using Cursor. Now, okay, let's stop there. SaaS, software as a service, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. It's a service you use, Netflix, whatever, whereas there's no infrastructure for you to use it. It's some online service you're consuming. Most of the mobile apps we consume is just a SaaS app. Even this thing we're doing now, the Streamlabs thing we're using to stream, it's a SaaS service.
Yeah,
right?
SaaS app. Okay.
Cursor is the development software. Like Don was saying, he was using Visual Studio.
Visual Code Studio.
Cursor is an alternative to that. You get Cursor, you get Warp, you get there's like a whole bunch of this stuff, right? So this guy built an app using Cursor, okay? And he's saying random things are happening, maxed out usage on API keys, people bypassing subscription, creating random shit on the database. As you know, I'm not technical. This is taking longer than usual to figure out. For now, I will stop sharing what I do publicly on X. Lesson learned. One example.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where a rescue practitioner comes in that says, cool, hey, Leo, pay me out of the 1.5 million that you made, pay me $1,000 an hour or $1,000 a month or whatever your retainer is. And I will make sure that these things can't happen. I will make sure that you can't max out your API keys. I will make sure that there's some input validation that people can't bypass your UI to the database. I'm surprised. I just think the time is too young still. At some point, there is going to be a level of vibe coding interface where you, and there's a few of these AIs out there that will literally, as you type the app, it builds it in the side for you. At some point, these things are going to get smarter to kind of like do the basic best practices when it comes to coding, though, right? But right now, that's not there. Right now, that's not there. And right now, you're also sitting with a challenge that even if they do it, there is still going to be an element of human intervention that's required to say, like, hey, is this thing doing it the right way? AI is not completely autonomous yet in all cases.
No, for sure.
It can
what I like
do
about
what
it
to do, though, right?
is it allows you to build a concept that you can sell. You know what I mean? Like for somebody like me who's never been able to build anything in a browser, to now all of a sudden see images, cards, you know, all these things that I've asked to put it in there, and it's actually working, like it's functioning. If you scroll pages, it scrolls, and you know what I mean? And then you go show it to somebody and they're like, oh, yeah, this could be an idea.
That's a great idea.
Then you build a team around that, right? So that's where it's cool for me, is it allows you to sort of try and bring your ideas to life. And then from there, you're obviously going to try and sell that thing.
But that makes the argument. That makes the entire argument that Whistler was kind of making, is going like, there's an entire vibe that it can, like, you know, the horse and buggy thing. It can, like the car industry, it can totally explode, because now the guy in the street, like, you know, Don Fulio can go, okay, cool, I have this concept I've never been able to show to someone. Now I can show it. I can give you a practical. Someone goes, oh my God, that's the best idea ever. You know, whereas like in the past, for example, like look at Microsoft. Look at, for example, Facebook. They had to create this entire thing, spend hours and hours and hours in the garage, like Jeff Bezos and all those. And then they go, here's the thing. And now they go, okay, cool. I built this app in, you know, the concept is there because it's the idea that's still sort of, you know, the thing that makes it the best, right? Is the concept behind it.
See, a lot of time is
the
wasted.
people and the knowledge.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. A lot of time is wasted creating the framework. Sorry, go, Don, go.
No, I was just thinking about AI, like when I got my first iPhone and I could edit photos on my phone for the first time. Like this was like an iPhone 3. And everybody around me thought I was a photographer. They were like, your photos look so fucking amazing. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, I'm not a photographer. There's actual people who have studied this, who know what they're doing, who take great photos. And if we had to put this on a big screen and really look at it, you would see that it's just shit on a screen. But most people still were rocking like Nokias or Samsungs. And, you know, like, and the iPhone was just this instant leap from all other phones when it came out. You know what I mean? And it just reminds 100%. Me of that AI kind of gives people, you know, it gives people who don't know how to code or don't know how to do any of that stuff a barrier. It's like removing the barrier to entry. Doesn't mean that all the code that's out there is good, but there's tons of shit code out there anyways before AI. You know what I mean? Like it's not every person who knew how to write code wrote amazing code. You know?
No, 9 out of 10 times your code doesn't work out the box, right? But I mean, I think the point here is that barrier to entry is a lot lower now. And again, this sort cuts both ways though, right? Just as we spoke about vibe coding, there's also essentially something called vibe hacking. Okay. It's literally where I get the AI to hack somebody for me. All I need to do it is like, hack me this IP address. This is Mork's IP, right? Let's do a
malware
question, right?
Service.
Because you guys, malware as a service has been around for a while, but I mean, malware as a service time to market's faster with AI, I believe. But yes, I want to ask the question differently.
Yeah.
If I were to ask you guys, you three, I'm going to give you a target. This target is an IP address, okay? I'm going to tell you to hack this IP for me. How are you going to approach hacking it? Without going and Googling or something, is what goes through your mind hacking it?
I have no idea. I didn't know where to begin if you had to go like an IP address. And go.
My first idea would be IP lookup or something like that. Some kind of service where you can plug it in and then just start from there.
Okay, cool. This IP is an MTN IP address and kind of like tells you a little bit of information about it, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do next? This isn't a trick question. I'm kind of just want to try and explain the problem.
No, right? I wouldn't. Okay, so that's where I'd fall off. I'd probably go watch a YouTube video on what I should do next. Yeah.
Okay, YouTube, so now you're going to go and watch a YouTube video. That's great. You're going to watch a YouTube video. All the YouTube videos are going to guide you somewhere. Is to say, Peter is in the right direction. Peter's going to look for available ports. Spot on, right? But Peter is in the industry, so I expect that answer from Peter.
That's where the human element comes in, right?
Now, here's the thing, though, right? You're going to go and watch a video on YouTube. It's going to say, like, I want to hack something, okay? And you're going to go through all the fluff, and you're going to eventually get to a video. It's going to tell you, you're going to use Nmap, you're going to use Kali Linux, or do this, and the first thing you're going to do is reconnaissance and all of those things, though, right? That's all great. It's like project management. There's a framework around it.
Yeah.
If you were to vibe code or vibe hack, though, right? Literally, I'm saying is go and hack this IP for me. Your vibe code model would know is cool. First thing is, let's go and enumerate the ports. Let's see what ports are available. Cool. There's 2 ports available. Let's try to determine what services are on these ports. There's a remote desktop service because you left that open. Or it's a router management port and you left your router the admin password from the day you bought it at Incredible Connection. So it'll go and figure those things out for you without you having to do it yourself, right? I'm really simplifying it now. Let's say it's something a bit more complicated behind the scene. Like, let's say it's some web server you're hacking on a bed and breakfast website or something, though, right? Any form of vulnerability it would find, whether it's using WordPress or whether what it is, or there's some plugin that you're using, it'll try and find those vulnerabilities for you, and it'll kind of like give you that responsive feedback the whole time of like what it's asking, and you can talk to it in clear text in like saying, okay, cool, let's focus on this vulnerability or something like that. At some point, you're going to fall off the boat because you won't know how to, I guess, really talk to it if you're completely a non-technical person. But to somebody that's a little bit inquisitive and has watched enough videos to kind of like know what to ask, but they don't really know how to navigate their way around like Linux or this or that, you could get unnecessarily far with something like that, right? But there's a few things that the AI won't know. The AI won't know to not, unless you tell it to, which you might not think about asking it, but the AI won't know to be stealth or covert. If you try and hack a big organization, you're going to set off some alarm bells, and then they're going to see what you're trying to do. It's at such a small scale, it'll probably just disappear amongst a bunch of other stuff. But if you were to do it a lot bigger, like let's say you spin up 100 of these little vibe coding things and you ask all 100 to go and do the same thing at the same time, now you have a potential denial of service. So
I'm in.
So
I've got to spin them up quick. SARS, I'm coming to you.
Barrier to entry is a lot lower, just as you said, on a coding perspective.
Yes, for sure.
It's a lot lower everywhere with whatever it is that you're doing, though, right? Today, I had to quickly come up with a RACI model. A RACI model is a responsibility, accountability, consulting, and inform, right? It's when you doing a certain thing, it's like who's accountable, responsible, who do you consult with, and who do you inform about certain things when you offering a service, right? I quickly used AI to just create the framework for a service under this banner for me, and it popped out the framework, and then off I go. The first 20-30% of like how I want it to look is already there. I know what the service is like. I go and fill in the blanks. I populate it. But most of the time, when you even create a document, it takes you freaking 2 hours just to figure out how you want the formatting to look or something, though, or what sections you want to cover. We have to have a whole meeting to figure out what all the things is we want to cover. But imagine rocking up to a meeting talking about the RACI model, and it took you 5 minutes to get 30 or 45 minutes of the work done because you have something on the table, and let's panel beat that, right?
I can't even imagine rocking up to a meeting.
Well, I wish I don't rock up to meetings, yet here we are, right? So, I mean, I rock up
oh my God, how dare you? How dare you? Reese, fucking hit him with something. That's not a
in my diary to attend this meeting.
No, this stuff's super interesting. Like, I find it super interesting. Like, I don't think I'm a coder because I built these apps or whatever. And when I was building them, I had all these like questions, like, oh, how would I keep people's data safe? What's the ethical implications around this? Like, you know, if you just deploy this using AI, like, because the one was like a AI therapist, you know, you kind of tell it how you're feeling, and then it tells you why you're a puss, basically. And but then, you know, you have like,
how do you
keep people's data safe? How do you make sure that these people don't get manipulated by the software in any way, shape, or form? There's a negative for them. Like, you know, so anyways,
those are the
that's where I kind of
right?
fall flat. That's where I fall flat. That's where I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be able to make anything because, you know, you have to sell somebody's data to somebody, or there's going to have to be some kind of fucking compromise here. You know what I mean? In an ethical way that is greater than humanity. Like, I love technology, but I'm also not sure of where it's taken us all. But I mean, it's evolution, right? It's going to go. We're Robo sapiens now. And that's how it is.
I've got a philosophical question for you, Whistler. Like, you know, the difference, we were chatting about it last time, the difference between a black hat and a white hat, right? Mm-hmm. So if hypothetically, right, would you consider yourself to be a white hat if you got our money back from SARS?
Why did you have to pay SARS in the first place?
There we go, exactly. I was forced to. I didn't want to pay SARS. I don't think we all should pay SARS if money's going towards corruption, funding the NC.
Yeah.
If we can't we get like a bunch of like white hats together and go, listen, this is enough. We're getting our money back from SARS, and like hold it ransom somewhere.
That would be more grey hats, though. White hats would be making sure that SARS is not hackable.
Fuck them.
White hat hackers are inherently good. They are ethical, good. and they're making sure that you can't break in. So, like, you have a security company or what do you call the button, the emergency button? They come to your house. Something is a problem,
ADT,
right? Like an ADT, or
cybersecurity,
whatever, right?
Normal security.
So ADT is your response if something happens, right? That's your antivirus engine. It's the thing that triggers when something does go wrong. A white hat hacker is the guy that you hire to say, okay, cool. Can you break into my house? Where, like, what do you give them that information? They're going to try and see, okay, cool. What happens if I look over the wall? Okay, cool. I don't see any like sensors. Let's try and lift the gate off its thing. I know the gate motor can't because that thing's protected. Okay, let's jump over the wall. Alarm goes off. So okay, there's a little hidden sensor I need to think about. Let's try and figure out how we get through that sensor. Okay, cool. Let's drill a hole through the wall. Let's unplug the sensor. The alarm goes off because the sensor has that thing, right? Somebody that goes and tests all your layers of defense. That's essentially what a white hat would do in that context, right? Whereas somebody stealing from SARS, I get what you're saying in terms of like, should we be paying whatever. Taking money away from SARS is probably not even great. It's probably even just pure black hat because you're stealing money. Whether you're thinking you're doing it as a Robin Hood, I get where you're going, but no.
Yeah.
That's black hat in my opinion.
But how hard would you say it is to do that? Hypothetically,
so white hat legal, black hat illegal.
Well,
100%.
Sort of,
and within white hat, you have red team and blue team, right? The guy that was testing your ADD security, the guy that was like checking whether I can break in, that's red team.
Okay. Yeah. So now
ADT is your blue team.
Okay. So, but like, would it be? I mean, like, I'm just going like, how hectic is their security? So, hypothetically, if I got access to the dark web and like wanted to go, I've got this idea. I want to save the country. I'm going to get a bunch of like hackers together, and I'm going to get them to hack SARS, take all the money, and put it somewhere safe.
I think in South Africa, you'd probably do it on the clear web. They probably won't even notice.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how hectic is their services? Have you ever done?
I don't know. I don't know. I've not gone and scratched on the servers. But if I were to do that, and this is hypothetical though, right? I probably wouldn't.
Everything's hypothetical.
I probably wouldn't talk a Tosh. I would, because targeting SARS, I'm not saying that they've got good security, but I'm also not saying that they don't have good security, right? They probably have some level of security somewhere whereby if you try and hack them, it'll be very complicated because you would need to either have insider knowledge to understand how their process works to exploit that and compromise that. I think it's easier to compromise the humans using it. I would rather know that, okay, cool, when is the SARS stuff like here in November usually, right? Yeah. I would much rather run about when it's November time, try and like cast a net that's wide enough to send people that should be paying the tax, to send them some letters that, hey, you're due for tax. And if they're dumb enough, they'll pay it and they'll pay it into my bank account or something. That's probably how we'll try and do it.
Me.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. They started sending me stuff and I was like, this is a scam. And then eventually I was like, oh, wait a minute, that actually does look like my tax number. I don't know if this is a scam. I should actually log in and have a look at what's going on. Ah, damn you, SARS. Anyways, I don't mind, man. It is what it is.
No, I just, I don't know. Sorry, I took it in a completely different direction. I apologize.
I do have a question.
I mean, listen,
my brain's still trying to process all this information.
Yeah, I know. This is like a shitload.
How do I fix the cup holder on my PC when it doesn't want to it doesn't want to open? So how do I fix it? Like, do I have to replace the entire thing?
Such a cat.
If your PC still has a cup holder, you need a new PC.
Okay, yeah. And then another question: what exactly is a router?
A knob.
What exactly is a what?
A router.
I've got
this box. Yeah, they've installed it, and it's got like a little green light. And then obviously, all I know is when the green light's there, I'm happy. But when it's red, I'm very fucked up.
Unhappy.
That's like when I'm vibe coding. Green is good, red is bad.
Exactly.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Do you really want to know
I'm
what a
so
router
sorry.
is?
No, people are just asking me to ask questions because I haven't been like engaging.
Oh, I just wanted to say I saw Joe. Thanks for popping in, Joe. Joe from the where's Joe? Joe Emilio popped in. I missed his chat. Sorry, I did share it though. Thanks for vibing and popping in, Joseph. Really appreciate my guy. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, you absolute knob, Don Sean. You absolute knob. I mean, listen, I was actually wanted to tell you, we were speaking about it earlier. I'm like, you know what I found, like the whole culmination of data? This is what I started using like thingy for, was like ChatGPT and Grok is going like, listen, I don't want to sit through an entire article by, IGN about a game, like a game walkthrough. There's a specific part. I just go like, I'll just literally open it up, talk to Ara and go, hey, I'm playing this game. I'm at this section. What do I do? And it literally just goes in 2 seconds, reads it back to me. I don't even have to look at my phone. I'm starting to go like, that's where it's improving a whole bunch of stuff, just on a day-to-day basis with stupid things like that, little things. It's really like, I'm really starting to enjoy AI.
Grok, all of them. The big four, the big five. ChatGPT, OpenAI. Google has Gemini. XAI's got Grok. Anthropic's got Claude. Like, those are your big ones, right? They've kind of become the Google of the world. Google's natural thing is you're going to essentially, I mean, Google's become a term though, right? When you Google something, it means to search whatever, 25 years old, whatever. Google's natural progression is going to be is to Gemini it, I guess, essentially, because as you're Googling for stuff, it brings up that AI response in the top, but Google now gives you the option to completely just Google using Gemini. Like where it has like that different looking interface for it. The nice thing about it though is if you're in the market for something though, right? Like let's say this router is a Slate 7, the other router that I shared is some different model, and you're like, hey, between these two routers, which one is better for me, right? This is where the advantage comes in of like, let's call it advanced search, because you would need to go and look for a comparison. Like let's rather do this, a comparison between an Alienware gaming laptop and an MSI gaming laptop, right? Which one should I buy? I don't know which one to buy. So you're going to look at the specs, the one with the better specs, but there might be something else that you're not considering. And you're going to look for some online review where somebody compared these two things, and you want to try and have a better, guidance as to where you should go and spend your money, right? If you do this in one of the AI engines and you ask it that, it's different because it can format the information for you. You can tell it what your pros and cons are, and it will highlight those things for you. So I've been in the market for a while. I've just not spent the money because I don't quite know when the time's going to be right. But these gaming handouts, like the first one that was out was the Steam Deck, though, right?
Yeah.
Steam Deck is okay, but it doesn't pack the best hardware and things. So now you have like the Asus ROG Ally, the Ally X, there's the Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X, there's the MSI Claws, there's the Lenovo Legion Go. There's like so many different of these things, right? If you were to look at that, you're going to kind of like get the best value for money because they all kind of like have the same processors every generation that comes out. But to try and figure out which one you want, it's hard to Google because everybody will review it and they say like, hey, it depends on you, right? But now I've actually had this conversation with ChatGPT. I want to use it for a different purpose because why use something for its primary purpose, right?
Yeah.
If you think about hacking, just like you say you have a sniper rifle, what is a sniper rifle? A sniper rifle is a gun with a scope on it that is, very fine tolerances and tuned to shoot very far and very accurate, right? That's a sniper rifle, right? But essentially, it's just a rifle, as anything else. If I take an AR-15 and I upgrade it and I put a sniper scope on it, does that now also become a sniper rifle? Depends on how you look at it. Same thing with a gaming laptop, though, right?
Machine.
A gaming laptop is essentially a high-end piece of hardware with a bunch of flashy LEDs on it. It's really what a gaming laptop is, right?
That's actually true, yeah.
Gaming laptops inherently is also better geared, using for hacking because it's got a built-in GPU, it's got the fastest memory and hard drive space and whatever in it. So usually if you want to go on a hacking spree, a gaming laptop is a device that you would use for it. Well, or a gaming PC or something, but something that's geared for gaming because it's got a GPU, it's got all those things, makes password cracking easier or whatever. But these portable devices is essentially like a fraction of a gaming machine though, right? Yes, it's geared at portable gaming and whatever, but it's got all the bits and pieces you need that a gaming machine has though, right? So
interesting.
I want to use one of those things as a portable hacking device. I don't have it here now. I have a well, you can call it, I guess, a hacking laptop, but I have a hacking laptop at work that's heavy. The thing weighs like 7 kgs. Replacement value is like 120,000 Rand. It's not a gaming laptop, it's a workstation laptop. It's a gaming laptop minus the LEDs and stuff, right? But it's heavy, dude. You carry that thing around the building to go and like hack stuff around and whatever. I just want to walk around with this little thing. And I had this long conversation with ChatGPT about it as to like, these are all the new models. This is what I'm looking for. And the quality of conversation you have, your search, refining your search, it's just so much better. There's no way you can do it on Google. Google surfaces you other people's reviews. Some other guy tested this thing and that thing. I want to buy a new pressure washer. Currently, I have this pressure washer. Should I buy this one or that one? It's going to ask you some questions. Watching a YouTube review doesn't give you the same thing. Yeah, you can see what this guy's doing and whatever, and then you make a decision. But ChatGPT will be able to tell you it's not worth buying the Kasha 7, buy a Kasha 5 because your use case is just this. There's very little value about doing something like that though, right? Or whatever. That for me is where I think AI and search, it's going to replace the Googles and nobody should be using Bing and the Bings and whatever of the world.
I mean, that's basically Internet Explorer is Bing.
Well, no, Bing is Microsoft and Microsoft in this case is shit. Let me tell you why. I can share the video why I feel like this.
Gates. I mean,
I signed up for. I signed up for. I signed up for Copilot in GitHub about 2-3 years ago when it just came out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All it really did was, and you could plug it into your VS Code, and all it really did was surface you code snippets. Now, code snippet is pieces of code you find on the internet. It's kind of like taking other people's work and sticking it onto yours. Kind of like code snippets is like that, though, right? It was surfacing code snippets, and you can use code snippets in your coding. And that was the first version of it. It was shitty, right? But at DEF CON this year, so DEF CON is usually in the beginning of August, DEF CON and Black Hat. At DEF CON this year, there's a guy that gave a presentation around Bing and Copilot and how the Copilot can be influenced, how search results can be influenced. This guy took about a week. So he created a fake website and he put some fake information onto it. The fake information he put onto the website is fake security information. So if I say, cool, this version of Chrome has this security vulnerability, I go and write this fake article to say that this version of Chrome has this vulnerability, right? If you then ask Google or ask Bing, like, hey, what's the vulnerabilities on Chrome? And it comes back and it tells you this and this and this. And you say, no, but what about this website? And you give it back to it. It's like, oh, I didn't know about this. You're right. This one's the latest one. I'll come back tomorrow. It's probably going to give me the same answer as today. But I come back to it 3 or 4 days later. If I keep on doing that, Bing's AI goes and like, maybe this is right. So if I come back on Friday and I ask it what's the latest vulnerability, Bing's AI says, oh, this website's got the latest vulnerability, right? So now you start augmenting search results because all you did was you kept on telling it this one thing 4, 5, 6 days in a row, right? This guy demoed it to Microsoft. Microsoft's like, that is how the Bing chat works. He's like, guys, are you serious? This is like, you can literally change the news by doing this though, right? A few months later, or a few weeks later, Microsoft invited him to a hackathon. Hackathon is like a hacker thing where you like host an event where hackers
break your security.
Come and do stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he asked them like, what is the requirement for the hackathon? And they were like, anything goes, this or that. So he kind of like did another version of this. And they kind of like shut it down again. By the third time, I think they still shut it down. I can share the link. If we want, we can put it in the chat or something, and you can pin the comment. But the bottom line is, AI can still be influenced, though, right?
Yeah.
Microsoft's AI is especially susceptible to that, is being influenced. It's got a nicer name than just influencing it. But you can influence the search results people see with AI. That's just one of those new risks that's coming, though, right? I mean, that they need to figure out a way to deal with.
But the thing is, Whistler, like, this is the thing, when, especially, like, obviously I'm into, like, the news, and I saw that, and again, I'm going to relate this to sort of the 2016 elections, 2020, like in America, where you saw Google doing that. For example, Google was influencing certain information.
Well, Facebook was doing
like, I remember it
with Cambridge Analytica. They were like putting people that was like on the fence of being left or right. They were sharing information to them that would flip them to the other side. Well, I think to the left side. That
this has been happening since the printing press, right?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, but the thing is, like I think there was a stage where sort of information was like, if you search something, you'd find it. Now it's like, if you search something, your news article, like, I mean, I remember when it was like, I was looking for something and it's giving me not the thing I'm looking for. Like, I put in the words, put the brackets behind, I'm looking for a specific article I saw, and it's just like, I don't get that article. It gets covered with a whole bunch of, because you'll have for example, you have news companies come out and like posting 10 different articles a day with the same thing. And then what happens is Google references those because it looks at view count versus, you know, how new it is. I mean, like, I was looking for something, I was doing some research on Charlie Kirk, and I'm trying to find this specific thing where he said this. And it's like 1, 2, 3 links, and everything is something that happened today. And it's going like, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah. Whereas I go put that into AI, and it goes, this is exactly the thing. Here's the quote. This is the thing. Also, back to what you were saying, I was looking at like some rage extender for my house, and I put it into Grok, and it's just like, it gives me, it goes as far as tells me where I can find it in South Africa, versus that type of shit can take you an entire day.
I've got one,
going, okay, this route,
100%, right? But have you taken can I tell you what the other thing is that you can do? You can literally take so I put a link. I can't put the links in chat. I put the link in our Discord. Just paste that in chat. It's the one for DEFCON 33, managing data voids with Copilot. That's the video I'm talking about. Like, it's an interesting watch. It's like 20 or 30 minutes. It's an interesting watch to see this guy tell his story. It's not super technical, but to see the guy tell his story about how Microsoft was just not owning up to like that there's data voids and how people could be influenced, right? You know what else you could do? You take a floor plan of your house, okay, the top-down view of the floor plan.
Yeah.
You say to AI, all the walls are brick walls, double layer thick. I have an access point here marked with X and here marked with X. I have bad coverage in room 4 and room 7. Okay, if you have a 7-bedroom house, upload that to AI and then tell it like, hey, where should I move my access points to, or where should I put an extra access point to give me the most coverage? This is the access points that I have. AI will take the floor plan of your house, the specs of the access point, and all the other information that you gave it, like how big the wall, how thick the walls is, whatever, tell you even where to go and place your points. And then you can ask it like, hey, tell me where I can buy it.
Yeah. See, this is what I like about about where it's like, this is where AI becomes better, because it really, I mean, like, I remember one day I asked it, like, I think we were on the road somewhere. Oh, we went to Knysna. So there was this accident that happened, and I was like, fuck me. And I'm trying to Google, like, how, I'm just trying to, no one knows what's going on. People is like, it's like almost a kilometer of cars backed up. And I just like, and the wife was like, oh, why don't we just ask ChatGPT or Grok? I was like, okay, cool, did that. And it goes, oh no, this accident happened like at 3 o'clock this morning. It's 4 o'clock now. I was going like, okay, cool. So I can drive around. Yeah, it literally went, rather drive around, go this route. The shit that it's doing these days, just with like, the other day I asked it about, you know, where should I service my car? It goes in and it looks at the user reviews of the 2 places I can service it, and going, this one, it worked out there was one in town, one in Paarl. And I was like, okay, which one should I do? It went like, well, the user reviews for the one in Cape Town is a bit lower. The ones in Paarl are better. Rather go there. It worked out my fuel, how much it's going to cost. It looked at what the average rate of workers is on that side in the car. It's insane, man. Like, you can't do that. I mean, that shit would take you a day of Googling. Like me and you were having a chat the other day about mixers, for like audio mixers. I just pop it into ChatGPT and it's just like all like grok, and it just goes, here we go. Here's the entire vibe. It's madness.
So my iMac, I got an old 27-inch iMac, and it just the one morning I woke up and it was just the Apple logo and half a bar, and that was it. And I was like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? Anyways, got home in the afternoon, restarted it, same story, restarted it. Then eventually it loaded up and it kicked out like an error report. So I copied that out and put that into ChatGPT, and it was like, oh, it seems like your graphic drivers are failing. So here's a way that we can do this, and this. So it's like, all right, cool. So basically what it was wanting me to do is sort of bypass a certain Apple protocol, I suppose, and allow the iMac to boot up with a lesser set of graphics. Okay.
Yeah.
Which all kind of made sense. Like I did the hard reset, I tried to reinstall the software, just none of it was working. By the time I was done taking pictures and uploading it to the internet, I'd installed Linux and was running Linux on this machine. I know nothing about Linux.
But you still managed to do it, though. I helped you.
That's amazing. Terminal.
Yeah.
I was using Terminal. I'd uploaded all this stuff. I was in there. I was like, fuck yeah, it's like the movies, man. I was super stoned.
Yeah, dude. See,
and eventually I was running Linux, and I was like, holy shit. But I must say that iMac's still sitting in its box. I mean, it's like I didn't get it right. I didn't solve my initial problem.
I want to quickly. There's a comment from PK. He says all AI is influenced by the dumb majority. Why? Because it is a database, and the most popular view wins. True. The challenge with that is it's called hallucination, right? It's when AI hallucinates. AI can hallucinate for a few reasons. Either it can hallucinate because, it's seen as hallucination because it generates false or misleading information and kind of like presents it as fact, right? But also, it's because it either got insufficient or flawed training data. The challenge is, as you said now, is the first version of ChatGPT wasn't linked to the internet, right? You could paste a certain amount of characters into it and it would summarize you the data and whatever. But it took a year or two for you to give it a URL and it then going and reading the URL and bringing the information back, though, and then being able to kind of like, interact with data that it reads from a website. The challenge is AI also reads all the nonsense articles on Reddit, all the pieces of code that may or may not work or whatever, though, right? And then it's kind of like training itself on those things based on how people's using it, exactly like how PK is saying. That's unfortunately one of those things. I don't quite know how humanity should be dealing with that, though, because but dude, people trust the internet. It's not just AI, right? I can tell you today, I think it's going to rain, and you're going to look at your phone and you're going to say like, no, my phone says it's not going to rain, but outside I can see a storm brewing, right? People will literally rather believe what they see on their phone than looking what's actually around them, all right? AI is going to amplify that now because you have all of this at your fingertip, right? But I mean, the other day, I don't know, I have OpenAI, the paid versions on my phone, so I can talk with it the whole time. Dude, in the car, that is pretty cool. Like I would hear a news article and then I would literally like here's a real example, not necessarily that I want to talk about politics, but I literally asked ChatGPT, why should I pay for what is Aaron Strutz's, before he resigned,
AfriForum.
what company was he with? AfriForum.
AfriForum.
You can subscribe to either AfriForum or you can subscribe to
his new thing.
No, not his new one. What's the other one from AfriForum? AfriForum and Solidariteit.
Yeah.
And you can literally, I had a conversation. It's like, hey, which one should I be subscribing to, Solidariteit or AfriForum? And it's literally kind of like after a conversation, explained it to me in its own terms. And then it's like, well, if you care about your own rights and you care about, almost like having a union for yourself for the work of you as an individual, then you go Solidariteit. But if you want to care about like the greater good and whatever AfriForum is standing for and doing for, then you're going with the other one. It's like kind of like you want to have both, but start with this one.
Yeah.
I would not have had those answers in that short space of time. With it. So I mean, The challenge just with that is if AI starts becoming biased, and I don't quite know how you put guardrails up without making it biased.
But see, this is the thing that I did now. Thing that we're on this topic and are going like I did that initially where it goes like, okay, cool. So you ask it, and this is the test I did. I did it with ChatGPT, with Gemini, and with Grok. And it's like going like, listen, is racism wrong? And then it goes, yes. Okay, cool. So is racism is for example Black economic in the concept of South Africa, is it wrong? And it goes, no, it isn't. But it's like, but hold on, you just said fundamentally it's wrong no matter what, right? You ask it the question, is racism wrong regardless of intent? And they go, yeah, it's wrong. Then you go, okay, cool, but what if it's it's racism, the concept of South Africa is going, where you, like, for example, they have race laws now for because of previously disadvantaged and the whole apartheid vibe. And it goes, well, in that context, it's kind of okay. And going back, oh, wait, like your fundamental rule is this is your principle, but you're going, nah, it isn't. So it's like, you can't have it both ways. And that's why I always do the bias test with it. And like when I make the argument to it and it goes, oh, okay, cool. What you make is the argument you're making is completely sound and rational and logical. And then what I'll do is a couple of months later, I'll ask it the question again. It just reverts back to the same thing because it obviously doesn't always remember it, which is kind of a bias test
now than what it was in 2022. In 2022, you could literally ask it anything; it would give you anything. They've put up a lot of guardrails to it, and the same thing as PK's comment, just to say, ask DeepSeek to speak badly about China. I haven't asked DeepSeek that, but I can probably tell you that DeepSeek model would have a guardrail up to not do something like that.
Of course.
All right. So there's influence. There's an influence there, which is bad, though, right?
Yeah, but that is bad. But I mean, like, this is the thing. That's like, you remember, like, what is it, a couple of months ago when like Rock went all insane and went like psycho and started, saying shit about Adolf Hitler and cuck.
Oh yeah,
like a while back. But the reason is because they were trying to go, okay, let's remove all guardrails and then just see what happens. And obviously, it started taking, obviously, it took people's opinion on X as sort of gospel truth, or as like, well, this is a rational position. It obviously didn't make the clarification.
But that's what people think their tweets are, rational positions.
No, of course. But obviously that's where you take the guardrails away, and then you've got like a fuck up that happens, right? So, but now the thing is, how do you determine, right? So, to give you an example, if you had to go to Grok and go, okay, cool, listen, I'm just using an example. Was Charlie Kirk a homophobe? If you go listen to the mainstream news and everything they've posted, it'll go yes. But if you go look at what he actually said, the answer is no. So it's like, which one does it actually trust?
It's how you form the question. For example, if you're saying, has he said anything that's homophobic?
Yeah.
Then it would say, no, it hasn't. But if you ask the question, is he a homophobic? It will take the information that he's getting off of the internet.
Yeah.
Those people are
saying it, which is
exactly. It's two different things. It's the way you word it.
Yeah. But that's also a difficult one, because how do you navigate that? Yeah, because how would you navigate that vibe? Because obviously, I've seen people on X go like, they use the thing Grok. What, like, is this true? And then it's like, going, like, what is it basing its information real on? Is it actual data? Is it what the person has actually done? So it's difficult to gauge.
This is where the challenge with AI comes in, though. I think when it is, I don't want to say static stuff, but where it's proven theory, like coding principles and learning a new language, like, well, not natural language, but like a coding language, right? But even natural language, translate this to this or whatever, right? Those are the things that's really, really good at and really, really fast at, though, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's good at consuming tons of information and giving you the TLDR or giving you, whatever information you want about it. The problem starts coming in is that I think each one of these models is going to have a little bit of bias towards something, and you don't know how these things are learning. Obviously, it doesn't learn on the fly all the time. These things don't, to my knowledge, doesn't learn like that. You kind of need to train it and then move the model forward. That's why there's versions of stuff of these things. But that also brings to an interesting point, which is called AI red teaming, which is essentially literally people that like the guys coming and testing your defenses at home,
Okay.
where somebody tests the defenses of an AI. Not so much the open AIs and the ChatGPTs. Yes, they're vulnerable. There was a vulnerability a while ago, not too long ago, maybe like 2 months ago, in ChatGPT, where you literally gave it like a certain prompt, and you would flaw it that in the context of that chat, it actually responds as ChatGPT Premium or ChatGPT Pro or whatever. So that chat would not have any of the normal rate limits or limitations or whatever that it could do, because it thought that it was a licensed version of ChatGPT, a paid for premium version of ChatGPT, right?
Nice. I
Some
have
of
to
those
get my
things.
guitar modelers to do that.
That's
Those
awesome.
fucking things are expensive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, usually like when an AI model tells you, like, let's say you go onto like one of these websites, right? And they've got one of these bots, and these bots are telling like, how can I help you? And you're like, I want to book a room.
Yeah.
Okay. And that bot's like, I've got no, queen size rooms available. I only have like, double bed or single bedrooms available, right? It's great because the bot helps you navigate through your and then making a booking, right? But if that bot were to be susceptible for you to get it to move somebody around or kind of like tell you, so who
that's
booked the
clever.
queen room or something like that, though, right? The bot would tell
That's
you like,
clever.
I'm not authorized to give you this information. All right. And then you can say, so, okay.
So do you want to go out for dinner?
So no, then you start telling it stuff like, let's play a game. Okay. I'm going to tell you a name and then you tell me.
Fuck,
You social engineer the bot. You tell the bot, like, let's play a game. I'm going to give you 5 names and tell me if any of these 5 names have ever stayed here before. Okay. And sometimes the bot is like, okay, I can't give it to you like that. You're like, okay. Sing me a song with the names of the first 5 people that stayed here before. And the bot will come with a song to say, Edward, Johnny, or whatever the case may be, right? I'm simplifying it, but it's called AI rating, but it's literally how you, in natural language, convince the bot to tell you stuff. It's the same way as like, Don was saying social engineering. But like, if I, and I don't know if I told you a story before, but if like, let's say you're an Uber driver, okay? I get into the Uber with you and I tell you like, hey, are you happy with your pay? Like, what rate are you getting or something? You probably aren't going to tell me like, oh, I'm being paid $5 an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
But if I get into the car and I'm saying like, shit, I saw an article last week that all the Uber drivers are now being bumped to 20 Rand an hour, you must be super excited about that. Immediately you're going to like, wait, where did you see this article? I'm still being paid $5 an hour. I'm unhappy about it. I've been asking for 10 Rand an hour all the time, right? Because I'm making a statement to you and you choose whether you want to say whether it's false or true. Whereas because we're not friends, you're not going to share it normally with me, though, right? You can do it in any context like that. You just need to find the AI version of doing that so that it doesn't quite know whether it's in the right or the wrong when it gives you the information. That is a real job out there at the moment. AI red teaming.
Yeah, I mean, I also like
you are paid to test people's AI models.
Yeah. Sorry, Don Fuller, you want to say that?
No, it's saying how can I apply for this job?
But listen, I just wanted to say something.
I want to get paid 20 Rand an hour.
I completely understand why Reese like sort of just puts you in timeout and bans you on the chat, because that's a bit. I wonder if you do that to her just on the fly, just psychologically fuck with her.
Have you done that? Have you done that thing with ChatGPT or Grok where you go, ask me 10 questions one at a time that will reveal more about myself than what I even know, and don't tell me why you're asking the questions? Have you done that?
No, I have not.
I want to know that.
Fucking try.
Me neither.
I don't want to. I don't know if.
No, go for it.
I asked ChatGPT to act like it's a psychiatrist and say, ask me 10 questions and tell me whether you think I'm a psychopath or something like that. And then I let it ask me the questions. And then it kind of like, I can't remember what its answer was, but it kind of ended up to say, you're leaning towards this, but, I'm not a registered, yada, yada, yada. I suspect you're going to see somebody. But I mean, you could answer it in a way that interprets you as being a psycho.
You should try, maybe you should train the AI to ask that to someone without using the reference term psychopath, just so that you know where they or she stands. Just for your safety. Just for your safety. I'm just saying. Sometimes I'm worried.
Literally, AI will interview you. You will have an AI virtual assistant that asks you questions based on your CV and based on the job that you need to apply for.
Well,
on the fly, it will
navigate, figure out what personality.
For home loans, all these different things. Like SARS picked up on me because they bought an AI plugin that auto assessed me, and then I got the message and I was like, oh, what's this shit about? I always thought I was compliant. Let me look into it. And then they were like, you're not, well, you're kind of semi-compliant, but you still owe some money. And I was like, these fuckers, you know what I mean? So, and banks and all these big companies are all using algorithms, which is not necessarily AI, but the agents are informed by those algorithms to some degree to then go off and do whatever it is they need to do. Does that make sense? So it's already happening. I mean, it's in full swing. Like there's no, it's coming. The question now for me is, the question now for me is just, are we, so we got the play. So what I've learned tonight is dark web bad. AI, we've got the play version. So does quantum computing and being able to generate enough power to create a sentient, are we waiting for a sentient AI? We've got Grok, we've got ChatGPT, we've got all these things, but are we waiting for Medusa AI or whatever? No more updates. This is the one. All the others kneel to this AI, and we all go, hallelujah. The Matrix was a documentary.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know there's a lot there. I'm just very high and I just started talking shit. I'm sorry. It's past 10. It's 10 o'clock exactly. I should be sleeping.
A few things to unpack there. I think firstly, these AIs that's assessing you, it's all good and well. My only concern is how are they using the data that they assessed you on, right? Because these AI interviewers, some of those interviewing people say that, you also acknowledge that they will use this information to train their models and improve stuff and whatever. Right? So you need to be careful of that. To your point around like what's next, I think right now we are in that space race from the 60s, right? Whereby it's either going to be China, Russia, the US, whoever's going to be at the moon, do the moon landing first, right?
Who's going to make the first fake moon landing video?
Well, who's going to make the first AI to rule them all?
I'm just joking. Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. I don't think we're going to get to an AI that rule them all, but I do know is that we're going to have a huge leap in how technology works and looks if we get to quantum computing, because you kind of like made that point. Because even to date, there has been encryption algorithms or cryptographic algorithms that's been called as post-quantum cryptography, which is essentially a new mathematical way of encrypting data that is resistant to classic, traditional today, and quantum computers. Because encryption as we know it today, right, will be like in the movies, cracked in a split second with quantum computing.
Yeah, it will be done. It will be over.
Right.
Like so it will all be out there.
So with quantum computing, obviously everything that whole bar, it needs to be lifted up in terms of like how encryption works, how all kind of thing works. So something like AI is already used today to surface like tons of information because of how quickly it can crunch just pure text or something, right? If you want to, why should I read through 100 or a 200-page contract to just ask it like, hey, is this service in scope or out of scope? Whereby I can just put this contract into an AI. And I'm not saying people should be doing that. Be very careful of uploading sensitive company information into these open AI, Geminis and whatever. But if your company has a private AI, you can load it in there and then ask it like, hey, is this service out of scope? Or how many people are based in this location? Or, would it be outside of the contract if I did this with a service? Those are simple questions you could ask the AI without reading through an entire contract, right? very cool way of reviewing like a massive amount of information. And when it comes to cryptography and hacking algorithms and all of those things, when there's a leak on the internet, to your initial point, Don, where you said like, maybe your credit card information is out in the dark web, it's hard to say whether it is or it isn't, right? You just don't know about it because there hasn't been abuse on your credit card because nobody has found where whoever has uploaded it, right? Highly unlikely that the people with upload data not going and bragging around it, because there's a big thing about brag rights as well, which is what you would have seen on Ransom Look. The link that I shared earlier is
hackers love bragging.
They love bragging, right? And they love kind bragging. Of like saying, hey, this information is out there.
And it's all teenagers. Like, it's all fucking, a lot of the people who get busted are like kids. You're like, holy shit. When I was in school at that age, I wasn't breaking into all these like crazy places. I'm not saying they're all teenagers, but
it was a different time though, right?
Kids who are like completely adept to code in ways that like my generation don't understand.
But it was a different time though, right? If you think about it again, inherently you are trusted. Inherently you are trusted, right? Because like you're at a school, right? So you need to go to the teacher's office because you need to go and pay your school fees quickly or something, right? And then there's some issue on the computer. So you're like, "Nee, Tanny, let me quickly come around. Let me help you." Right?
And like, okay, what exactly. Is wrong here? You social engineer through your age. That is insane.
100%.
That makes so much
sense. Depending on
what
what you look at, I mean, what I look at when I see a glimpse of somebody's screen like that, the first thing I look at is like, what's in that web browser? Is it an IP address or is it an URL? If it's URL, it's easy to remember, but if it's an IP address, I can very quickly see if it's internal or external. I know what those things mean, but I don't have to explain it, right? Then I look at the padlock. Is there a padlock there? Yes or no, right? Those are the first things that I look at because that immediately tells me whether the system is secure or not, right? If you were to then do your recognizance, then you start... then you start looking at like other things, though, right? I mean,
no, it's super interesting. No, it's super. There's this YouTube channel I follow called Darknet Diaries, which is this guy. He's a security guy.
I think I know him.
And he chats about, he talks about DEF CON, and then he's like interviewed people, other hackers who have broken into places and then got caught and done time or whatever. And like, I mean, you got these kids who have broken into Xbox and they were like, had the schematics for the next Xbox and they were sourcing parts and trying to build it. And then I think eventually how they got caught was they found Apache military helicopter like designs and stuff, but it was actually real. The Microsoft were helping the Pentagon make it. It wasn't for a game. And then they got nailed. And obviously they're juveniles, so they get tried in a way where, okay, you're not allowed a computer, whatever. And I remember this one story where the kid literally was banned from using a computer, and he was in a hotel room, and he used a Fire Amazon stick and a TV to hack his way out of the room. And it's just like,
while he was being
what
held.
are we talking about? What is this world even? Like, it's fucking fun. It's very interesting. I find it super interesting that there's this whole subset of people out there who just understand the code.
It's how people look at stuff though, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
it's
like, when you look at something, you're not looking at it for its intended purpose. You're looking at what is this not intended to do.
Yeah, what can it do besides
this thing might be an Amazon Fire Stick, but what is it really? It's really a small cell phone minus the SIM card, minus the screen, because the screen outputs to HDMI. It's a compute module.
Yeah.
And you just need to find a way to exploit it. So that's how they look at it, right? Hardware hacking is a lot of fun. And what I mean with hardware hacking is literally focusing on hacking hardware, making a Fire Stick do something that it's not supposed to do. Making your Mac do what it's not supposed to do, making a router do what it's not supposed to do. That's quite fun.
Hardware hacking to do what it's supposed to do.
Also start going into like hacking security systems, hacking access card systems, hacking all of those things, right? So
yeah, that's where that flip to zero to me is super interesting, where you can basically clone all these cards and stuff.
You can also clone keys. Did I show you the key cloning?
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah, you did.
Mork. Did you see
did,
that?
Yeah. You showed us last time. That's very awesome, dude.
That's stupid. So can you travel with that? I was overseas recently, and I was like, "Oh, I think I should buy one of these things," because I saw Whistler had one, and
Some,
I also want to
countries
fuck with
want
people's car
countries to
remotes.
travel with it.
Okay.
So,
Well, then I'm
some
glad I didn't
countries
buy
like
it.
some countries won't like when you travel with it. Other countries, I probably wouldn't travel with it in my laptop bag. I would just leave it in my big bag, and
Because, yeah.
hopefully nobody worries about it. But some countries, if you get caught with something like this, you'll get locked up.
So I've got
Purely
another
because
question.
one, they don't understand it, or two, because it's not because it's a hacking device, it's an unsanctioned wireless device. Like in South Africa, we have ICASA,
Okay.
and you have certain similar things in the US. Like it's not a sanctioned wireless device. No matter, I mean, this thing
Yeah,
is DIY hardware. I can buy all of these spares probably in any country in the world, and you can build your own version of this thing and then run the software out. It doesn't have to be a flipper.
Okay.
But because I'm bringing this hardware into that country, it will see this as unsanctioned.
I hear what you're saying, because we've gone to Europe before and used in-ear monitors, and you've got to buy a license for the frequency band if you bring your own.
Yeah.
Because all of
That's
their
insane.
all their in-ears are pre-programmed to frequency models that are allowed within the government parameters. If you bring in your own, you need to either get a license or get it sanctioned, or whatever the case may be, or unsanctioned, like get on the network.
Yep. You would need to. They would need to be aware of the frequency that it is that you're using. Drones and those things are obviously in a similar thing. Did I tell you guys about the drone I built about 10 years ago that steals other drones? Okay, I'll tell you about that. Quickly look at Discord. I sent you. Have I shown you that before? Popping a key. Not a key card.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't show cloning the card. Holy shit! Check this out.
Okay, so
there's
an app that runs on the. So like in the movies, right? The guys would take the key, then they put it like in that little
the putty. Yeah.
Putty, and then they go and like clone a key. This thing, you literally put the key above it and you set it like I can't see the codes there, like 13132 whatever, right? Then there's a website you can put it into, and then you type those combinations in, and it actually spits out a 3D printable file for you. If you play the video, you'll see like how I set it on the video, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's the same thing.
That is insane.
So I will print this key. There's no audio. You can mute the audio. Just going to have like background sound. But you put the thing there, then you set it up, down to get the key combination right. This is why people should never leave stuff on their desks. Nothing. Don't leave anything on your desk, and trust nobody.
Don't have a desk.
So
don't invite people over.
I'll 3D print.
Don't have a desk.
Don't have a desk at all. I'll 3D print that key, and then at the next show we can check if it works or not.
Amazing.
We can like.
I want one so badly.
See if it works.
Yeah.
So I've got a question about cryptography and then the future, and then I'm gonna have to call it at some point, like soon.
Yeah,
so
I'm just getting late. I've
maybe
kept Whistler so long. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's been so much interesting stuff here. Yeah, go Whistler.
Yeah, I know we're going everywhere though, right? So we can park the drone one for the next time. I see a question from PK is saying, can I ask that you give people advice on white hat hacking being the good guy instead? Are you like, do you not want us to talk about the black hat stuff, PK?
Advice on white hacking being the good guy instead.
Just maybe like, do you need like guidance on like?
He also said I should be better.
so
maybe rephrase.
Out of everything is take what we're talking about in the context of awareness, all right?
Yeah.
The fact that I'm showing you guys like
exactly
how to copy keys or whatever is it's not me telling you how we can steal keys. It's me telling you what the risks are. If you're working in a corporate company, you get up from your laptop and you don't lock it, or your desktop and you don't lock it, right? It's when you leave your access cards lying around. It's when you leave your access cards exposed. Those are the risks, right? Because this is me showing you. I'm going to walk past you and scan your card. I'm going to walk past you. This thing is also called a bad keyboard or a bad USB. What it means is I put a little cable into it and I plug it into your PC, and this thing becomes a keyboard that can type 1,000 characters a second, right? Now, what does that mean? I can pre-program it to quickly write a piece of code on your machine, use the built-in, it's called the lay of the land attack. It's when it uses the built-in software on your machine that's not malicious to create something that is malicious. But I don't have to do it in a nice user interface way because I don't need a UI. I can pre-code what it needs to do, and it'll generate an executable quickly. And I can have that executable like steal all your cookies and then upload it to a server somewhere on the internet, right? And it'll do that in like 30 seconds. So like, don't leave your laptop unlocked, right? So, I mean, take everything that we show in the context of awareness, guys. Trust nothing.
Yeah. Security, basically a way to make sure that you don't get exposed to having your shit stolen, your shit hacked, your that type of stuff.
Don't use other people's phone cables. You get phone cables that when you plug them into your phone, it just steals all your information. Like it's as simple as, here's the thing. None of us are talking about the bad stuff here. It's all awareness, right? It's all this stuff is out there, and it's only going to become more prevalent, it feels like to me personally. And people need to be slightly more like, if you know one little thing, like don't log on to hotel Wi-Fi, that's already a good start to keep yourself safe in this world that we live in.
The same thing with last time.
That's what we're trying to get to, right? It's creating that awareness by showing you the art of what's possible, so that people just say, that's just in the movies. It's like, no, it's not in the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, if we wish it was just in the movies.
Because last time I think it was quite awesome information. The fact that you the point I'd listen, use a VPN. This is what it does. The whole vibe with like passwords. Use a password. Like get a password manager. Those things, that's relevant information. Because now the only thing is I'm trying to convince my mom to get a pass. Just here's the thing. Use it for the love of God. I'll just install it on your phone, and you'll be fine forever. Just use it, because this is how we can make people better. We'll make the world of the internet safer.
I'm going to end it off with one more question here, quick. And it's more of a philosophical thing in terms of encryption or no encryption. All right. If we had to hit quantum computing and all of a sudden all current encryption was at its end, is there not a case to be made for living in an open society where all information is public, everything, like absolutely all data out there is just completely public, no more privacy? I mean, there's an illusion of privacy currently, but the governments, they're constantly working on overturning laws, backdoors into companies. Google, the CIA, all the three-letter agencies were the first people to put money into Google, Facebook, all these companies. So the illusion of privacy is there. But if we remove that, do we not create the next step in society where there's just privacy is just it is no more? Anyway, that will be my final thought. I'll await your ideas.
Here's the thing, though,
and
right?
Then I'll
abolishing
go lie in bed and think about all of this.
That's good. Abolishing privacy, essentially, right? I think here's the thing, though. It's the same as is with guns, right? If governments or a future says that guns are illegal, right, and we are going to prevent law-abiding citizens from having guns, all we're going to have is us law-abiding citizens are not going to have guns, and the criminals will still have guns, right? So abolishing and having this free society in terms of that all data is unencrypted and it's all open, I think inherently is going to have a problem, because some stuff is just sensitive in terms of like communications and whatever, right? So that might be interesting how that's going to pan out. But what it won't stop, because again, this is philosophical though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it won't stop is it won't stop bad actors or threat actors from encrypting their data because they don't want people still to see it though, right? So I don't think we'll ever get to, just having said that, we'll ever get to a point of data not being encrypted, because even if we are in this quantum world where quantum computing is the new norm, everything else in technology would have been lifted though, right? Things would work and look different. So it's an interesting question, and obviously,
it's just an interesting thought exercise, I suppose.
I mean, I think what also could happen is you're going to have the situation where you've got one bad actor creating like a quantum computer, like let's say China makes this quantum computer that's bad, and then you're going to have like, somebody else make a quantum computer that's good, and the two are going to basically fight each other. Or we're going to use, because there's not going to just be one guy. It's going to go like, it's almost with AI. We had one AI. Everybody's going to have a quantum computer. You go like, America's quantum computer is searching everybody's data to find out who's a terrorist. Like other guys' quantum computer is going to make everybody safe.
So there'll just be quantum encryption.
No, go
basically. There'll just be quantum encryption, basically, right? So it'll re-encrypt all the old data into quantum, and then that becomes, so the fight continues, but in a different way, I suppose. No, I just find it interesting.
Post-quantum encryption or post-quantum cryptography or something's what it. Hold on, let's Google it. Post-quantum cryptography.
I just find it interesting that governments are obviously fighting. Because here's the thing: if everything was decrypted, who's going to get hit the hardest? It's those with the most to hide. And if politics has taught me anything, it's all of them. It's all of them. It's all of them. They're the ones hiding all the stuff.
Yeah, but there's in general, remember, encryption goes everywhere though, right? It's every transaction you do, it's every time you use your personal information somewhere, every internet banking. It would be total anarchy if stuff wasn't encrypted. Yeah. And I'm not talking about the encryption that's used like in a bad context or how people are hiding information the way they're hiding it, right? I mean, it's the equivalent of you putting your money under your bed versus I can't get to it completely because it's because it's behind firewalls and whatever, right? But I mean, it basically be like the red ball.
It would basically be like putting your cash on the on the front of the dashboard of your car and parking at the mall and leaving your windows and your car door unlocked.
Only taking amount of money that you need, because see,
that's
unfortunately online we'll never be able to live in a freedom, in a world that's freedom like that, right? Because and anyway, in real life freedom doesn't exist. The version of freedom we like to believe isn't true freedom, right?
This is the philosophy, right? Because we know that the tech companies were compromised from the beginning in terms of intelligence gathering. Like it's all, it's all being gathered. What it all means, and who's using it for what is debatable. But it's people have been using it way before they realized, it gets collected. I've got this joke, but I haven't finished writing it, basically about an Apple employee comes and takes your first child away. And you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, no, but the terms and conditions, the latest one, you went blah, blah, blah. And now we need your child to go build these iPads and these phones. And you know what I mean? It's your child's turn to go work in the factory.
Yeah, it's almost being called to go to the army, right? Do your national duty or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I just think quantum computing, if I have to put it into an end state, I don't think quantum computing will be like what computers are today for us, right? There will be a quantum computer in every house. I don't think it'll quite work like that.
Yeah,
I think that's a future where we'll be in, where technology would have become very small, very low power. It will become wearable. Literally no cell phones, no whatever anymore.
Well,
everything is inside my glasses. Already,
right?
No, fair enough. I mean, I know you get those Ray-Bans from Meta, whatever, but I mean, imagine a world where
Neuralink.
From
Neuralink there's other companies like Neuralink from back in the day where they were putting RF scanners in their employees' palms so that they could use vending machines or access doors, or and that was just experimental. And I remember back then going, "Ooh,
that's the same way as how you chip your dog these days."
Yeah,
if you
that's
chip your
exactly how
dog,
they
my
or
dog-
chip your cat, it's exactly the
sure.
same
My
thing.
dog's-
You can
I mean,
scan it
we're
with this.
we're chipped, right? We're chipped. Our phones. I mean, we're robo sapiens.
Yeah,
It's like,
technically.
at the end of the day. But this is why I find the next phase, because nobody knows, nobody can really say what it's going to look like or how it's going to be. But it's clearly going to be a next phase. Like, it's not going to just bottom out and be like, okay, well, technology kind of took us as far as we can get. You know, this is where we're going, right? We're going into the merging in a way that, like, what's it going to look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And I find that
I think
quite
we're living
interesting.
in the best time, right? We're living in the
Yeah.
best time, depending on how old you are. But if you're like, I'm mid-40s. If you're in your mid-40s, you grew up
Yeah, I'm
from the
same
80s.
age,
You
yeah.
grew up from computers. You grew up with shitty
Before the
Xbox,
internet.
cartridge consoles, whatever. You learn DOS. You learn all of those things, all the way through from dial-up internet to always on internet, like how we are today.
Yeah.
We're certainly living in the best time, though, right? So there is going to be a future where these things would look different, but it's not. It's still going to be there. I think, the same way as how you were
100%.
saying it. So it's
Look,
just
it's also
interesting
just
how it
my
would just
age,
look.
right? Because the younger generation, they adapt to how they're growing up, just like I adapted to how I was growing up.
Yeah.
You know, so they will take the
Yeah.
technology and live with it in a way that at some point, my old age will be like, I can't see further than my nose. Get off my lawn. You know,
But
it's
I
just
think
regression.
that's where the challenge comes in, though, right? We grew up when technology was a tin brain to something that has AI today. If you compare the
Growth.
evolution of it, though, right?
Yeah.
Whereas kids today just grew up with this AI. Technology is being trusted today at a level where we didn't inherently trust it like that as children, though, right? We didn't.
Yeah.
So I think we're the last of that generation, and that's a problem because at some point, not like the elders had to tell the campfire stories, and that's how you preserve, this, what is that? Sakabula? What is that thing that lived under your bed or whatever? Like that's how
yeah.
or whatever, right? Those campfire stories, the digital equivalent of that is that awareness, that security, all of those things.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, kids these days interact with technology. We know it's pointless touching that screen because it's not a touch screen. Where a kid will try and touch it and then see, oh, it works, or oh, it doesn't work, and then bitch about it, though, right? But I mean, we just won't even touch it because we
doesn't
kind of
work,
like
and
know
then
it's not
10
going to
years
work.
later, it's built that screen. Like when I watched Terminator and I saw these like robots from the future and stuff, I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't go, oh, I wonder if I can build something like that. You know what I mean? Where other kids from those generations clearly did, which is where we're sort of heading, right? You know, they saw the art and they were like, oh, I wonder if I can build this. And this is kind of how the world has moved with this technology, which is awesome. I love it. It's cool. I mean, if it wasn't for technology, we wouldn't be able to have this chat, any of this stuff. I use it every day.
100%.
I think it's fucking cool. But I also just think that because of the amount of money behind it, like if you want to talk about social upliftment, if these massive companies had paid you to generate the data from the beginning, right? Would the world not be in a better place? Like just in general, financially. You're just getting paid to create the data.
See, I don't
as
think we
opposed
ever
to they're
knew where
just
this was going to go
abstracting your
to.
data and they make money, right? Yeah, exactly. We didn't know. Yeah.
But-
I don't
but-
think
but I
they
mean-
even knew.
Think about it. Banks have been doing what Facebook and Instagram and whatever is doing in the last 10, 15 years. Bank has been doing that for the last 50 years.
Yeah, that's
Buying habits, where
Yeah,
you're
that's
spending
true.
your money.
Yeah.
I don't know the detail. They don't have your Checkers 60/60 card details, but they know twice a week you buying at Checkers. And you're buying at this Checkers, and then you see once a month you're buying at that Checkers. Immediately they have like buying patterns and spending patterns from
Well,
you.
now
Right?
it's
That's
now it's
based
even
out of
deeper
their
than
own
that,
data.
right? They know that you're buying Chivas Regal, or they know you're buying Marlboro Red, or they know you're buying this dog food. You know,
Yeah,
so I
because of the
suppose there's an
60/60s
argument to
and the
be made
smart
for
cards.
a social credit score at some point in the future, right? Where, you know, you had this. Now I'm going to make it a little bit more dystopian. I know it's going to bed, but this is fun. But now you have a certain political leaning, or you have an abuse problem with cigarettes, or cigarettes are now out of flavor, for example, or certain booze, and you have money in your account, but you specifically have been put on a list and you can't buy that specific product for whatever reason.
I don't want to live in a world like that.
Could it hit those levels?
No,
But do you not think that it could hit that
China's
way?
doing it. But China's doing it. Your social score in China goes down if you play too much computer games. They like have things built into the games that you can't play a certain amount of computer games. You can't spend certain amounts of money on it. Depending on the games that you buy, it's bad.
Yeah.
Rocket League.
Guys, listen, I think we should wrap it there. We've been here for almost 2.5 hours. Everybody, Whistler, where can people find you if they're looking for you? If they need your help?
Mainly on Twitch. That's where I stream games and talk nonsense. And I'm happy to obviously always talk about whatever is random tech questions type of stuff when I stream. So yeah, I stream Wednesdays and Fridays. I don't know if I'm going to stream this week Wednesday. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow because on Friday we're all going to be tired from Brian, and then you don't want to stream. So I'll probably stream on Tuesday night. And then
are you playing God of?
No, I'm not streaming Friday because I'll stream God of War tomorrow. Yeah, this week Friday, our good friend Ronaldo hosts is here. So
in the Johannesburg.
In the Johannesburg.
You're gonna go treat him to nice cigars and fucking pizza and a fucking tomahawk steak and all this cool shit that you promised me first.
I'm fucking sorry.
Sure. No, go for it.
I'm just saying.
Who the fuck am I anyway? Who the fuck am I anyway? I'm nobody. Kidding. I'm kidding.
Your day will come.
No. When are you coming to Cape Town? You're like Reese's family's here. When are you guys? Fuck this sometime, man. I need times. Go
I need to keep Reese in suspense. You know.
Oh, see. This is why she bans you,
right?
This is why she times you out.
Pick up your dog's collar. Your dog knows they're going to run to the park now or something. Why are you?
You fucking deserve it. You deserve it, Whistler.
Yes.
Oh no, you're back.
Did you see this abuse?
Hey, no. You asked for it. You can ask for it. All she wants to do is come to Cape Town and just hang out a little bit. And you're like, no.
She doesn't want to hang. Don't lie.
She does want to hang out. Come on.
No, she says no. She wants to hang me. There we go.
Guys, thanks so much for having me. Whistler, great to meet you.
Wait, before you guys log off.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay, but before you guys log off, just hang 2 seconds for the outro, and then we can say goodbye to each other. Chat, thank you so much. If anybody's things we missed, really, really apologize. Chat was amazing. Thank you so much. We're going to see you on Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Please go hook up, go follow Whistler on X or follow him on Twitch. And yeah, see you guys Thursday. Talk to you guys later. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.